It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. Man, I am fired up. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. And if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're not following us on Facebook, what are you doing? All right, go to Facebook, type in SportsZone Chicago, click the thumbs up button, the like button, and now you're following SportsZone Chicago. And listen, while you're there, listen, you're there already. While you're on Facebook, for a goof, all right? Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning's Facebook page. Why not? You're there for a goof, might as well. All right, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, our Facebook page, like that as well. And now you're following this show's Facebook page as well. Also, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. Okay, and if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, come on, man. What's going on here? Go to YouTube, type in SportsZone Chicago. Okay, you got it. Good. Now hit the subscribe button. We really got to get our followers up. We need your help. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And if you're watching this on the app, that is even more excellenter. And if you haven't downloaded the app, really, where have you been for the last year and a half? All right, listen. Wherever you get your apps from, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, JCPenney, Marshall Fields, wherever you get your apps from, okay? Type in SportsZone Chicago, download it, take us with you on the go. So in addition to Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, in addition to our other 5 live shows, in addition to them being archived there, okay, you have a slew, and I mean slew of podcasts, thanks to our guy Clarence Council III. All right, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SportsZone Shy, that's CHI, at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The Snap are all one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Kai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IGer and you do it just for the grams, just follow her at Maya_Kai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I'm thinking about getting a TikTok. Why? I don't know. Everybody has it. And I was just told, okay, well, obviously TikTok is like the newest thing, the hottest marketing thing. I don't have to dance or sing. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I can dance, don't get me wrong, but 50 years old. You want to see a 50-year-old dude dancing on TikTok? No. All right. I mean, I could still get down. I mean, I got to stretch beforehand, but I'll be good. I'll be good. So I might be getting a TikTok. So pay attention. Who knows? It might be coming. I may add TikTok to that as well. You never know. Well, listen, I would be remiss if I didn't bring him out. He's the man that makes everything run smoothly here at SportsZone Chicago. He's the man behind the curtain, the Wiz, some people call him, but I like to call him my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, and he's affectionately known in some circles, not a lot, just some circles, as PR Swiss is my man, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Chilling. Another Monday, ready to get rid of this snow again. I'm just done. I'm done with the snow. It was nice a little bit for, a day or two last week. Then we got hit with this shitty weather.
So how much did you get up? Because I think the tables are turned now. All right, because the last heavy snowfall, the South, us out here out South got it. You guys didn't get very much up there. What did you get out here? Because here, it you know where you can see it? It's only on the grass. It's not even on the streets.
Right. Yeah, it's wet. It's wet and heavy. I mean, it's sticky, but it should be. If the sun comes out in the afternoon, it should be all melted away. Like it should,
Okay.
at least a good amount of it should be melted away. I don't think anybody. Maybe by the lake it got a lot more with the obviously the lake being right there. But yeah, we didn't get as much over here by my house. So it's like I said, wet and heavy, cold. You know what I'm saying? It's just nasty out. It's March. It's March still. We got tricked with that fake spring last week. So a,
Shit,
a
2
little
days
blip.
ago.
2 days ago, yeah, we got tricked with that fake spring, and then here comes the Ides of March, ready to come in and wreak havoc once again. It's just give it another week or two. Give it another week or two, and I think we'll start to see consistent temperatures and things start to change with the weather. Towards the end of May, it's still kind of going to be patchy, but I think we'll get out of this weather soon enough.
Well, here we have we're looking at Cheryl Scott's forecast from in the Sun Times from ABC7. So it's supposed to be 36 snow showers early, 1 to 4 inches of snow, and then tomorrow 43. So there goes 43 and sunny. Okay, Wednesday 42, sunny. Thursday 43, and some sun and a mix of clouds late. So it's got to drop because it can't snow in 43 degrees. It's too warm. Okay, then Friday 33 and snowy. Okay, Saturday 26 and cold. Sunday 38 and still chilly. Man. I need the 10-day. I need to see what the 10 day is looking like. God bless it. That stinks.
Yeah, well, we need an Arizona vacation is what we need.
Yeah, it's real talk. It's for real. That's exactly what we need. Well, listen, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. And we got some people on the text line already. Cornelius Squalls. What's up, Papa? How are you? Cornelius in the house. Hassam HR in the house. Mashan is in the house. What's up, Papa? And Armando Lara Jr. What's up, Junior? Okay, he's not enough snow. He lives up Harlem and Higgins up in that area. So yeah, it must not be that bad. Okay, cool. That's good. My guy, Tony Bell, Damian Dunn in the house. What's up, buddy? How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, the love and the support. Listen, when I said we have a phenomenal show, I am not lying. Okay. Actually, I am lying. I'm a Leo, but I am not lying. I'm not lying. We got a great show for you. 10 o'clock, Zach Pearson. Okay, comes on. We're going to talk a lot of Bears, actually. All right, the NFL Scouting Combine just concluded this weekend, and a lot of good wide receivers in this class. It's a very deep wide receiver class. All right, which is really good. Which is one of the things that we need. We'll see how we progress at that particular one. So we're going to talk to him about that. Talk to him about the O-linemen. What are the Bears? What are they going to do? There's a lot of Khalil Mack trade rumors going around at the combine. It seems to have kind of stalled or eased up as the end of the combine drew near. So what is he hearing? We're going to talk to Zach Pearson. Okay, at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, Joshua Hicks. Okay, from We Are Regal Radio is going to call in. We're going to talk to him. We have some Bulls talk, baby. The Bulls have lost 4 in a row. The Bulls are no longer the top seed in the Eastern Conference. All right, the Bulls are actually, let's check it out. Check it out. 1, 2, 3. Man, the Bulls are 4th. Shit. Wow. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference. Okay, 3.5 behind Miami. Miami, Philly, Milwaukee, Chicago. Okay, they're a game ahead of Boston, 2 ahead of Cleveland, and 5 ahead of Toronto. Man, see what a 4-game losing streak does to you? Takes you from the top to the 4th spot. So we're going to talk to Joshua Hicks. What does this Bulls team need to do to turn it around, turn their fortunes around? Because this is they're going to keep sinking, and that's not a good thing. They have to try and stay afloat while they await the cavalry to arrive. All right, their injured players need to get healthy. And what do they need to do? I'll tell you some of the things that I see that are the issue. Okay, so but we're going to talk to Joshua Hicks at 11 o'clock. And then don't forget, Joseph might jump in here for sometime between 9 and 10. Then our guy Kenneth Davis joins the party at 10 o'clock. I want to see how he had a good weekend. Him and the missus went to the New Edition concert. So I want to hear about that. That should be awesome. I saw so many different pictures. I almost felt like I was at the concert on Saturday. People were going live with different songs. There's a Telephone Man, Every Little Step, My. They were going with all of them. So I actually feel like I was at the concert and didn't spend $100 on a ticket. So, but my guy Ken Davis, right around 10 o'clock. Who else? We got some new people jumping in. Russell, what's up, Papa? How are you? Good morning. And the Factor One, he's coming in. Good morning, baby. Yeah, he is soft. Vooch is soft. He doesn't have that dog in him. Okay, he doesn't have that dog in him. He doesn't have that killer instinct, and that's the one where you because you're a big man, because there's a lot of other big men that you play against, and guys with good leaping ability, like dunk the ball. It's so bothersome. Like I hate his little short hook. I can't tell you one thing that's more irksome to me and with this Chicago Bulls team than Nikola Vucevic's little jump hook, toss hook. Dude, you're damn near 7 feet. Start dunking on people. That bothers me, I think, more than anything else. Okay? Stop the little baby hook bullshit. Okay? Stop it. Be a man. Dunk on people. Okay? And there's a reason for it. Okay? There's a reason for it. You send a message to people. Okay? You send a message to people when you dunk all the time. Okay? Trust me. Look at Shawn Kemp. We'll go back. Shawn Kemp. Think of all the hardcore heavy dunkers in the league. And if you're going up and if you don't beat him to the rim, you're not going up because you don't want to get dunked on. You don't. It sends a message showing that you're not. It lets defenses know that you're for real. Okay? And people think a lot. They'll think twice about going up to challenge you because they feel you're going to dunk. They don't want to get posterized. They don't want to fuck up their hand. Because if they get up late and they try and block it and you break a finger, or you break their wrist, then that's money that's out of their pocket, and that's a business decision. Okay, but you set the tone with those dunks. And I just don't understand it. And Billy's got to enforce that. Vooch, you're huge. You're a big man. Start dunking. Get nasty on people. All right, let me get off my soapbox because I was pissed off. See, was that the Factor One? Yeah, you got me fired up. Got me fired up this morning. Son of a biscuit. Oh, man, that's awesome. But you know what? And this is what we love. Whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our app, okay, whichever one you're watching us on, do me a favor. Leave a question or comment on that particular platform. It'll come up here on the side of our super producer, Ivan, will get it up on the screen. And, it will be incorporated into the show. And that's what makes the show so fun. All right, we take your questions, we take your comments, we talk about them, we analyze them, we laugh about them if they're funny or silly. But it makes you part of the show. All right, your voice is heard. Your voice is being heard. You can express yourself, and we look forward to having you guys all the time. All right, contribute your thoughts, questions, comments. All right, so listen, let's get it started. Who sings it? Black Eyed Peas. Let's get it started. Yeah, I think that's Black Eyed Peas. I don't know, but anyway, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
first top of the morning topics, the Blackhawks. Let's get them out of the way. You know, it's funny. So I had we had our Christmas party for one group of my cousins this past weekend because we were supposed to have it in January, and one of the guys, my cousin who was supposed to host it had COVID. Him and his whole family had COVID, so we postponed it, and we just finally set a date. So it was this past Friday, and so my cousin who had COVID, we were talking. He's like, "How's the show going? This and this and this." He's a retired Cicero cop. I'm like, "Good, you're retired. You can tune in." He's like, "You know what?" He goes, "I'm gonna be your hockey guy," because he's been a hockey guy he's been playing hockey since he was a kid, since 6, 8 years old, whatever. And he's like, "You don't even talk hockey, do you?" I'm like, "Oh, no. We talk hockey. Sure, believe you me, we talk hockey. I know hockey. I don't know it as well as you. I haven't played it as much as you have. Okay, I'm not going to get into the different lines and what the specifics of each forward and each line." I said, "But I get it. I could talk hockey, all right, because I played too, but just not at a level that he did." And he was like, "All right, I'm going to come on your show." I'm like, "Well, come on." I said, "We don't talk much hockey." I said, "Because the Blackhawks have really pissed me off. Okay, the decline in play, the whole Kyle Beach situation. They're trying to make amends, and in the issue where they make amends, old man Wirtz, Rocky's starting to look like his dad now. Goes after a couple of reporters for asking a question about the reason they're actually having a town hall meeting, and that bothered me. Okay, when you got egg on your face that much, you can't be yelling at people because they ask a question on why you had egg on your face, and that bugged me. So I don't really talk much about hockey. I don't really wear a lot of my hockey stuff. I got a couple nice Blackhawks stuff. I got a Blackhawks t-shirt. I got a dope hoodie from my guy John with the 4 feathers on it. It's pretty tight, and it's got instead of a drawstring, it's got eyelets, and it's got a hockey shoestring. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty dope. But it was funny. He's like, "I'm gonna come on and talk hockey." Like, "Whenever you want, Chuck." I was like, "You come on, man. We'll talk hockey." And so I'm still waiting. So hopefully he comes on one day, and we can talk hockey. But I just told him, I said, "Hey, listen." I said, "I just talk hockey to get it out of the way." I said, "Because I'm still not happy with the Blackhawks." I said, "Miss me till next year." I said, "I'll report on it. I'll give you scores. I'll give you a couple stats." I was like, "But," I said, "I'm not let the son." Let Danny run. Let Danny be the mouthpiece, the face. All right, Rocky, you just sit back and be your old curmudgeon, get off my lawn self. So, yeah. Anyway, well, listen. As I said, the first top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks yesterday got their asses kicked. Blackhawks lose 6-3 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow. Mark under this Fleury, he stopped 26 of 32 shots. So not a huge amount, but they went on a flurry. Tampa Bay went on a flurry, scored 3 goals at the start of the third period, 3 goals in 32 seconds. That'll do it. Patrick Kane notched his 18th goal of the season, added an assist. Dylan Strome, all right, lit the lamp for his 12th goal of the season, and he also added an assist as well. Just Tampa Bay is just too strong. All right, this is a team that won the Stanley Cup. This is a team that is constantly deep in the playoffs. This team is good right now. All right, this team is really, really good. The Hawks just didn't have it, and how many games they got left? Because I'm really tired of the nonsense. I just need a fresh, clean start with the Blackhawks is what it is. Need a fresh, clean start. Get some changes. You made a new GM. You took the interim tag off the GM to make him your permanent GM. Now settle on a head coach. Make some moves in the offseason. Started with a clean slate because I'm tired of this Blackhawk season this year. And in my opinion, I just got to move on. Just move on. All right, end this season. If you're gonna trade Tays and Kane, if you can, get some prospects back for them. But all in all, I'm not feeling the Blackhawks, and I'm not. So on that note, the next top of the morning topic: University of Illinois. which should be Chicago's team, but Northwestern has staked claim to that. University of Illinois yesterday clinched a share of the Big Ten title with a 74-72 win over the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's why Maya was upset about that. She's hiding. She's crying still. Understandable. Down in in Gamebridge Fieldhouse down in Indianapolis. Kofi Coburn, he led the way, 21 points, 14 rebounds, and big win for Illinois. You got to share the Big Ten title. Now the Big Ten tournament starts on Wednesday at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. So that was the game actually was in Champaign, not in Canton. I was reading the next top of the morning topic along with this one, so that was my mistake. My mistake, guys. I apologize. That one was in Champaign, but the Big Ten tournament starts Wednesday down in Indy, and can they win it? Can they take it? That would be to be the regular season champ and the tournament champion. I mean, they're going to the dance regardless. All right, regardless, but. Kofi Coburn's got to do a bit. He's got to make his presence felt. You have to feel what the things that this guy can do. He needs to be a traditional big man. I know we're in the era of 3-and-D and the long shots, but in college, which you can slow down in the tournament. Okay, you can get the ball and run the offense, run it through him, and he's got to do a good job of being a facilitator. He's got to do a good job of exploiting the matchups when he's got them. But it was a great game. It was a great game, and there are a lot of Chicago area kids down there, for recruiting purposes, and those are the wins you need when you have recruits there. Those are the wins. Those are the types of wins that you need. All right, you don't want blowouts. Okay, you want good games where, I mean, you may not want them that close, but you want games that you pull out because it shows the prospective recruits the fortitude of that team. Do you want to be a part of a team that doesn't quit? Do you want to be part of a team that always believes they're in the game? Do you want to be part of a team that knows how to come back if they're down in close games or doesn't shit the bed during close games? Those are the things that are exemplified when you go down, you visit a school, and there is a close game that they come out on. These things are reinforced with the prospective students. All right, and then Underwood had to go screw it up and saying if the kids didn't like it, they go play somewhere else and we'll kick their ass. I'm like, really, coach? Really? You can tell the kid to go somewhere else so you can kick their ass. That's why one of the reasons you don't get the best kids in the state. Come on, dude. Come on, don't talk shit to your own kids.
That's like
Illinois kids.
That's like the moment when you're like assistant coaches are just like, what the fuck? Like, what are you saying, dude? Like, hey, calm down, bro. Like you're about to screw a lot of things up for us with the recruiting.
I think he did. I really think he did screw it up. You don't say that to your prospects who were there. If you were there and you didn't get excited about that, to go somewhere else, it will kick your ass. Okay, I will go somewhere else, and hopefully, you kick my ass. Try it. I was just a cluster mess, dude. I don't even know what the hell he was thinking. It was a big faux pas, coach. Big time faux pas. Just can't do that. Just can't do that. When Illinois has been struggling to get back to the heydays, the glory days of, the Flying Illini, when every single person down to the ball boy, the team managers, was from the state of Illinois. Every single person. And that's no disrespect to anybody else in Ohio, Iowa, Missouri, New York, DC, Philly. It's no disrespect. But if you get a team full of top Illinois talent, coached well, they'll go deep every year into the tourney. Every year. Chicago kids are just built differently. All right. And not only that, there is a plethora of talent. Hell, think of all the blue bloods that come and recruit in Chicago. You got the Coach Krzyzewski, who lost his game this past weekend, his last home game at Cameron. Think of Bill Self. Okay? Think of all the programs. Kentucky. All right? Kansas. They said Duke. All right? All these schools, these blue blood schools that Indiana, some of the big, everybody comes, Michigan, they all come to Chicago to recruit kids. And it's not just the top tier. So if you're a mid-major, you're coming to Chicago. Chicago kids are built different. They're built differently. They really, really are. All right. There's a lot. And I'm not saying it doesn't have other places, but you talk about a lot of shit talking. You talk about literally going into hostile environments. If you're talking about CPS, hell, even the Catholic League is hostile environments, really, really hostile. Okay. And for them to come out, if you don't look at, Io DeSumo is the latest of Chicago, the Chicago factory, so to speak. All right. Morgan Park's own. Okay. You got the kid from Michael. What's the pest name? I can't remember his name. Ivan. What's that pest name? He's a pest. Great defensive player.
From
Michael.
John Starks?
No.
Oh, who you talking about? I was thinking about a pest. John Starks is a pest to me. I don't know. I was trying to figure out what you're talking about.
The defensive play. He's a defensive guy from Chicago. Not Michael Finley. Guy
from Chicago. Pat Beverly.
Pat Beverly. There you go. Pat Beverly. And not to mention the Chicagoland area. We get kids from the suburbs as well. It's different kids, man. It's different kids. And, Chicago, University of Illinois, there should not be a bad a college team in Chicago or Illinois. Think of if you kept all the top talent in state at Illinois, DePaul, Loyola, Northern, Southern, Eastern, Western. Okay. You can even go down to places like Lewis. Okay. There's so much talent in this state. It's not even funny.
No, I mean, you're right. The issue is, and I think a lot of us understand some of the mentality that goes with these kids wanting to leave, because the dangers that come with being and growing up in Chicago, especially if you live on the south and west sides of the city. Like, there's a lot of danger that comes with it, and there's a lot of leeches that come with it. Yeah, there's a lot of leeches that come with it as well. So, with that, I could understand the mentality, because as a young kid, hoping and wishing you could go and play big time ball somewhere, I would have that mentality. Shit, I don't want to be here. Like people are getting shot left and right. I might be shot myself walking home from school. I could understand their mentality of I don't want to stick around in Chicago and I'm close to home. Yeah, I'm with my family, but the problem is you're close to home. You know what I mean? A lot of people know you, and there's a lot of dangers that come with it. I mean, people, if you're from Chicago, you understand this.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say go to Illinois, but even that's just a couple hour drive, and you're close enough for your family, your friends, and bad elements can get to you as well. I get it. I just would really like to see them stay, because it was 2.5 hour drive down to 2 hour drive down to U of I, somewhere down there. You pass Eastern on the way. Yeah, I don't see a lot of people taking that drive just to start trouble. You know what I mean? So, but you got to get people back involved. You got to get people back interested. You got to get hype. How you do that? You win. Right, you win the Big Ten, the regular season tournament, or at least a share of it. Then you go on, you win. You at least get to the Big Ten championship game. Okay, get to the Big Ten championship game, and now heads are going to turn. All right, then you see, oh, okay, these guys are for real. No, they're for real, and that's what you need. You need there's nothing like Chicagoland talent on the basketball court, second to none. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Hi, this is George Iceman Gervin. I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
012. AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. NHL Sunday, the Lightning beat the Blackhawks 6-3. Chicago led at 1-0 after the first, but trailed 4-1 after the second. Tampa scored 3 more times in the third. Chicago with goals from Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, and Dylan Strome. They each added an assist. Marc-Andre Fleury made 26 saves. The Hawks are back home tomorrow night against Anaheim. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop. Big matchup tonight as the Bulls visit the 76ers. Chicago 4th in the Eastern Conference, looking to snap a 4-game slide. They've fallen 3.5 games out of first place. The Sixers coming off a loss, but are second in the conference, tied with Milwaukee, 3 games behind Miami. Illinois basketball wrapped up the regular season with a 74-72 win over Iowa Sunday. The Illini with the top seed. The Illini have the top seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll play Friday against the winner of Thursday's 8th seed Michigan, 9th seed Indiana matchup. For Lightning Fast sports updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of the most popular sports apps in North America. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're not shopping spring essentials at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just got 20% off the cutest outfit from Sonoma Goods for Life, 25% off Hurley, which my son loves, and 25% off Champion and Adidas. Did I mention I also got an extra 15% off and earned Kohl's cash? Here's to longer days and more time to save. Select styles, 15% offer ends March 20th. Hurley, Champion, Adidas, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
You're riding around, it's like going on a go-kart.
And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
my happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your mow. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. That was pretty sharp there. I liked it in it. That's pretty dope. That was pretty dope. Our next top of the morning topic, Loyola. We're staying at college hoops, baby. Loyola beats Drake 64-58 to win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament and advance to the NCAA tournament for the second consecutive season. You know what? It's been a long road. You know, it's been 5 years since they had that run. And, you know, who was it? Who's their guy? He's on like his 7th year. Is his 7th year in I'm kidding. He's in his 5th year, I believe. Lucas Williamson had an extra year of eligibility. I'm like, dude, weren't you there with the first one when Cameron Krutwig was a freshman? And weren't you a freshman with him back in like 2005? What the hell are you still doing there? 2022. He's got kids he plays with. His own kids play on Loyola. Like, come on, dude. College, are you coming out with a medical doctor when it's all said and done? I mean, people say in college 7 years are called doctors. Come on, bro. Stop it. Stop it, dude. What the hell? Anyway, he had an extra year of eligibility, and so he led the Loyola Ramblers yesterday, and it's good, man. It's really good to see Loyola getting back, and that's what I'm talking about. Even the schools that have high academic standards, you got kids here in the Chicagoland area, okay, who are phenomenal hoopers. Okay, they just happen to have 3.4 to 3.5. You can recruit here. Northwestern recruits here. You can. Northwestern had Vic Law to St. Rita a couple years ago. Okay, there's tons of players. All right, you get your kids from Whitney Young. Whitney Young, you got to be smart as. You almost have to be as smart as St. Rita kids that go to Whitney Young. Almost. You got quality hoopers. All right, every grade point level, every level of basketball play. You got Big Ten, all right. You got Blue Bloods, all right. Then you have the smaller schools, the mid majors, and we have plenty of talent there. I'm telling you, you keep all the talent in state, or the majority of it. University of Illinois, DePaul. I would have. Here's the thing. The city to me right now, it seems so much smaller. Okay. Back in when back in my day, get off my lawn. like going to DePaul was a long way. Like that was all the way on the north side. Like that was on the north side. Like holy shit, dude, that's a long way from the south side. That's a long way from the south side. And you have to transfer trains, a couple of them maybe, because it was at the blue line or the red line up there by DePaul, right there at Fullerton.
It's the red and brown.
Red and brown.
Purple, red, brown, purple. Well,
yeah,
but I don't think purple. Does purple stop at Phillips? I don't know where purple goes. Purple, the Linden train. I forgot what stops there are, but red and brown primarily.
What is it? What's it called? The Skokie Swift too. They have the Skokie.
Oh,
Swift.
The yellow line. Yeah.
Yellow
Skokie
line?
Swift. Yep.
The Skokie Swift. That's right. Yeah, dude, that was a hike. Like we didn't go up to the north side when I was in high school. That was and we guys with cars like, no, that's too far, man.
Dude, I lived. So I had, as I grew older, me and Pops, we didn't see eye to eye as much. So I went and lived with my grandmother for a little bit over on Pulaski, right across from Fort City, Pulaski in like 76. So 79 to Pulaski. So like right by Bogan. So I was living there for a while. So I'd have friends up here. All my friends are up here. So I'd go and take the bus to the Orange Line.
Orange Line.
Take it out, and then I would just stay the weekend. I'd just be like, bro, I'm not going back down there. Like I can't go back down there like a day, and then I have to immediately go back home like within an hour. I was like, I better have a place to stay. Like I don't care if I crash, but I'm not coming to hang out for nothing. So it was quite a hike getting up there.
I see. I didn't know you lived over by Fort City. Ah, okay, right by Bogan, and you caught the Orange Line right across the street from Curie. My old stomping grounds where I used to teach and coach. Yep. That's things you learn every day. Things you learn. Well, the next top of the morning topic, the Bulls. Big one. Woo, Charlie, big one. It's not a must-win game for the Bulls. It's just a must-win game for the Bulls. The Bulls, they travel to Philly today to take on the 76ers tonight, 7 o'clock local time, as they look to end a 4-game skid. You heard it in the commercial break in the update. They've lost 4 in a row, and 4 in a row has taken them from top of the Eastern Conference to 4th in the Eastern Conference. Okay, there's no room, and the sad part is we're not at full strength. That's the frustrating part. All right, we're waiting. We're trying to tread water, and it's tough. This schedule, we have the second most difficult schedule by percentage-wise in the second half in the NBA. The second toughest. And we're down. We're down Alonzo Ball. We're down Alex Caruso. We're down P. Will. It's going to be tough. And, my thing is this. It's going to be, is DeMar DeRozan. I know you just got named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for February. Okay? I get it. And you deserved every bit of that award. Every single bit of that award did you deserve. But now start passing the ball, dude. Okay? I'm tired of you. Okay? When you're not, and I get it. You want to see if you get in the flow. You want to see if you're on. More power to you. But when you're not on, you need to find somebody else. You can't, if you're not on, you can't continue to take fall away jumpers with 2 guys closing out on you. Can't do that. Somebody's open. All right. And there were too many times where we went to the black hole that is DeMar DeRozan now. Okay. And he did a quick turnaround, or he took on 2 defenders and faded away. If it's not, and it doesn't fall. And if it doesn't fall, you got to find someone else. And then that's the problem of everyone else. When he gets the ball, they stop. They stop moving. That has to cease. Just because DeMar has the ball doesn't mean your offense stops working. And there were numerous times in the last 3 or 4 or last couple of games where they just stood around and watched. Stood around and watched. He misses a free throw, or he misses a jumper, a fadeaway jumper. All right, the other team gets the rebound. You have to keep moving. You have to keep running your offense. Okay, there are times it wasn't the fourth quarter where he just tried to take over and he didn't have it. I get it. You might be tired. Zach, ding, ding, ding. Here's your chance to step up. You want that max contract, don't you? Here's where you step up. Here's where, say, hey, DeMar, you did it for the first few months. I got you. Zach, here's where you need to step up. Here's where you need to be the go-to guy. Here's where you need to be double teamed and triple teamed because you're hitting game-winning shots. Now's your time, Zach. Now's your time. You want that max contract? Now is your time. It's plain and simple. I'm telling you, there's got to be a rift between him and DeMar DeRozan. I'm telling you. Watch his body language when DeMar takes shots and he doesn't make them. Watch his body language when DeMar takes shots and Zach and is hounded by a single or double team and Zach's open. Watch his body language. And that tells a lot. I don't know if there's any beef or any animosity or friction between them now, but there will be.
The foreshadowing there. Yeah, I think that the playoffs are the tell, and that's what I feel like AK and Mark Eversley and even to the coaching staff to an extent are waiting for. It's like, let's see what these guys have come playoff time. You have an idea with DeMar. You have an idea, you have guys that you hope can make a step up. But as far as understanding where you're going to go moving forward, whether you bring Zach back or not, I think the playoffs are going to be just the tell-all truth. I think Zach LaVine is just, he wants to be a part. Like, I don't think he necessarily is. I mean, it could be jealousy, but I don't want to go there. I think he's just trying to force himself into the equation a little too much to where he's, taking bad shots. He's, turnover, like just everything else is starting to, the frustration with offense is starting to leak out to everything else in his game. And I think that is a part of that's an issue that you need to solve right now, because you don't want that to linger, because like you said, if that continues and then the frustration goes and then all of a sudden they're beefing and they're bickering and now it comes from one player's frustration to a team frustration. Like, I think that complicates things more. So for Zach to just calm down, and it will come. I believe Zach's time will come. Like we talked about it plenty of times. When his number is called, he needs to step up. I think that time is coming. I just don't need him to force shots and just take himself out of games mentally right now. He needs to just continue to build and hold strong. You got two guys that are hopefully getting healthy really quick, and that can help you out down the stretch.
I think his time is now. Ivan. DeMar's struggling. Okay, DeMar's struggling. Teams are throwing 2 and 3 guys at him. Okay, now's your time. Here's why. You got 20-something games left, or 16. I'm not 16 games. What's the record? Let's check it out. So I don't want to misspeak. All right, the Bulls, the record, 4th in the Eastern Conference, is 39-25. So 64 games. Okay, 18 games left. In these 18 games, we need Zach to win 2 of them. Buzzer beater. Okay, at home, on the road. At home, he'll get all the confidence, all the love. All right, on the road, you talk about a confidence booster. Bam! I did it in a hostile environment, but win it at home first. Okay, and then whether it's the next game or another next week, whatever, have him win it on the road. It's got to be the ball. Game-winning shot has to come out of Zach's hands, because that will do 2 things. 3 things. 1, it'll give him the utmost confidence that he can close. 2, it'll give defenses a headache. Who are you going to defend now? Are you going to defend Zach? Because if Zach gives it up to DeMar, you already know what DeMar can do. He's already closed out and put some games in the victory column for the Bulls on last second shots. And 3, it gives our team confidence that not only do they have DeMar to close, they have Zach to close as well. It gives them that option. If I'm looking, oh shoot, DeMar's, boom, I got it. Because you can't double team both. You can't double team both when they don't have the ball. You can't. So who are you going to double team? This is the importance. Zach, you want that max? Here's your chance to solidify it. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. You have to step up, baby. And I hope you can. I want you to. I want you to get the max. I want you to make this team deadly. I want you to say, who the hell are we going to cover? Zach or DeMar? Because, Zach, you're a lot more explosive to the hole. So you take a 3 or you pump fake out a 3. Guess what? If the guy's closing out, you can put it on the floor and go right to the cup. Look for some contact, try and flush it on somebody's head, and get an and 1. Get a 3 the traditional way. This is the perfect time with 18 games left for Zach to emerge as a closer. It's there for you. It's right there for you. And if you can't close it, if you can't win it that way, then here's what you need to do, Zach. You need to do what DeMar did. When they're getting close, they're shrinking a lead that we have. You hit it with a 3 to extend it. You don't let them get close. They get to 2, you hit a 3. Now it's 5. You get a defensive stop, you come back, you hit a 3. Now it's 8. Bam! Just like that, it went from a chance for them to tie or go ahead to 8-point deficit for the other team. You've got to be clutch. Okay, those 3s at that particular point are heartbreakers. They're ego busters. All right, you have to be able to do that. Okay, because if you can stave off a run, hold them off, keep them at bay, and then finish out with free throws, that's just as good. Because it helps you say, hey, now I have the confidence in the game. When there's 2 minutes to go, or a minute and a half to go, or 3 minutes to go, and they're trying to make a run, I can stop it. But not only can I stop it, so can DeMar. So can Kobe White. Because because Zach LaVine's driving ability, once he pump fakes and puts it on the floor, people are collapsing because he gets to the hole quick. Zach LaVine gets to the hole from the top of the key. It's a 1 dribble, and he's there. So Kobe White, your ass better be ready in that corner. Vooch, keep your ass on one side of the block or the other. You don't need to be up behind the 3-point land. We have other guys who can shoot the 3. It's sometimes, guys, this game is as simple as it sounds. It is as simple as it sounds. But players and coaches make it more difficult than necessary.
Lonzo Ball. I think, and Alex Caruso. I mentioned those 2 because they've been playing all year long. I know Pat Will's getting back. He's waiting in the wings. But those 2 in particular, like the ability to hit the 3 from Lonzo Ball, the defense from Caruso, and his ability to get to go ahead and drive to the basket as well, like his fearlessness, those things I feel like, you kind of relieve the 2 closers in Zach and DeMar with those guys. Like they're not trying to do too much. And then Vooch is not out there, kind of struggling himself. It's like you take the pressure comes off those 3 once those 2 come back. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to, make an excuse for them, but it's a fact. Like an extra guy who could hit the 3, wide open 3, like Alonzo Ball, and a guy like Alex Caruso, you could have 2 wins. You could have maybe 2 or 3 wins out of these 4 losses, I feel like, instead of being down, having 4 in a row.
Well, hey, dude, Lonzo's shooting 43%. Oh, well over 40% from beyond the arc.
Correct.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. So now you got Zach, boom, up pump fakes, takes it to the hole. Whereas especially if he's coming off the wing, someone's gonna collapse from his right side, boom, kick it right out to him. And there he is, just waiting. Him coming back is huge, and both of them. From a defensive perspective, that's the problem with the Bulls. They're giving up too many points. Well, the Bulls go from a top 20 defense when Alex Caruso's out to a top 5 defense when Alex Caruso is in. From a top 20 to a top 5. Big difference. If you're 16, 17, 18, 19-ish, you're middle of the pack. You're top 5, you're one of the best defenses in the league. From one guy, because he holds people accountable out there. Because you know who you talked about earlier? Zach LaVine. He's not playing defense. Zach is not playing defense. And part of it is he's pissed. I think he's pissy because of DeMar. I said Lamar. I'm thinking of Lorenzo the Nerds. from DeMar. I think he's still a little. I think that is seeping through into his offensive game, and it shouldn't.
I think his offensive game is seeping. I think it's the opposite, and it could be. Like I said, there could be an element of jealousy, an element of frustration because DeMar is having such success. But you got to, like, for Zach, he has to realize, like, DeMar's playing on another level because he was pretty much ridiculed and written off. He was a castaway, like a throwaway, the worst signing
in the bust of a lot of jokes.
signing. Yeah, exactly. The butt of a lot of jokes. So he's playing on another plane. You know what I'm saying? Even in the game he got ejected, like, he's playing on another level right now. And Zach has to understand that it's very hard to match somebody that's playing, outside of themselves. Zach, I think his frustration, like I said, when he's forcing up these shots or when he's not driving, like Factor One said, when he's not driving to the basket and drawing fouls, right? I know he doesn't get fouls calls as much. And I kind of have a feeling like some of the referees don't like it because Zach can be a guy that's nonstop up and down the court. Where's the foul? Where's the foul? Where's the foul?
Mm-hmm.
I could understand that, but he just needs to not take his offensive frustrations and let it leak out into his defensive play and his decision making on the floor. It's that simple. Zach, put the ball on the ground, get hurt. You're the guy. Like, you have to understand, do the dirty work. Like, I know you can hit the three, but if it's not falling for you, do something else. You have to be able to adjust your game and it's all for the good of the team. Do what you have to do for the team.
What's working that night? See, Zach is one of those players who is fortunate enough to be able to say, hey, listen, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to kill you from three. If that's not, I can kill you from three. And if that doesn't work, or if you're closing out on me, guess what? I can put it on the ground. I can put it on the floor, take it by you, go around you. Now you're in real trouble. Now the defense is really stressed because you let him go and get a dunk, which will fire him up. You collapse and then let him play make, hit the wide open guy behind the arc. These are the things that Zach does. These are the things that Zach does very well. And he's got to start. Sometimes, you know what it seems like, Ivan? It's sometimes he doesn't remember who the fuck he is. Like, dude, you are a really, really good player. And when you remember who you are a great player. Okay? You look at the great players. They never forget who they are. All right? They never. And Zach gets to pouting. Zach gets to this. Zach should be like, you know what? Bet, watch. You don't got to call a foul because I'm dunking on people. Okay? He's got to find that self-motivation.
Zach needs to choose violence. Like, Zach needs to pick violence. He needs to go ahead and start attacking. Like, start attacking, cut the bitching up and down the court out. And I hate to call it bitching because there's a lot of non-foul calls that I'm like, what? I'm looking out and I'm cursing, down here in the basement. I'm scared, like, I got my wife telling me to shut up, but they're clear as day on the court. And I understand his frustration, but you can't give up. You can't give up on defense, going back because you're over there yelling at the referee down the court. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is where I'm like, hey, you got to draw the line somewhere. I understand your frustration, big dog, but you got to continue to play the game.
You have to. You can't sit there and bitch and moan about it, okay, because nobody cares. They're like, okay, good. You stay back here, argue with the refs while we're up here on an odd man rush, to borrow a hockey term. Okay? You do what Mike did, and this is all right. At the timeout, you walk into the bench. If you got to cross them, and then talk to them at that particular point. Say, hey, listen, watch the foul, blah 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 blah. Okay, and then if you don't have to cross, if you're by your bench, just walk out. Listen to what Coach Donovan has to say. Then walk out there and say, hey, listen, watch out for the foul. All right, I thought I could have got a call there. What are you seeing? Things like that. Stop bitch. The more you bitch and moan and be demonstrative, the more the refs will hate you. The more the refs will not give a shit. We could ask Jason that way if he comes on. All right, I'm telling you, I know Jason and my guy Mike. All right, don't start bitching and moaning at the refs. All right, because if you think you should get a call, if you think you're getting screwed now, wait till after you bitch and moan. Oh, foul, ref, come on. Whenever you get that ball, or you carry the ball, or you get if it's football, that was going in their pocket when you have it. It's going in their pocket. So he's got to learn a better way to. Because I agree with you, dude. Zach's not. Zach has been getting screwed on so many calls. So many calls. Not, or I should say, so many non-calls. So many non-calls. He's got, yeah, I'd be pissed too. But there's a way you got to handle it. There's a way you got to handle it, Zach. All right? Because you know what? Because if you're a power, bitching and moaning is for whiners. All right? I know, cue up LeBron James. But LeBron James is a closer. All right? Just go. You see a lot of the stars. They'll go and they'll talk to the refs at a downtime, timeout, personal, one-on-one. All right? Always. Just, come on. You got to grow up, Zach. You got to grow up. Well, let's see. The next half of the morning topic, Major League Baseball's lockout. There was no headway in 95 minutes of meetings yesterday. Okay, on the 95th day of the lockout. This is per Ken Rosenthal. However, the Major League Baseball is willing to increase the luxury tax if the players are willing to move on some items. So it could be a light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll find out. Because I was listening to John Heyman this morning, and John said that it's 140 games. 140 games is a TV. You get the full amount of the TV money if 140 games are played. So they have to get to the 140. So as they start getting closer, so that's what 22 games that's about the first month. There's a few more off days in baseball in the first month because of weather issues, potential weather issues. So when they say they're willing to sit out the first month, trust me, these are billionaires. Billionaires know where their money goes. They know who they have to pay. They understand contracts. They know where they can toe the line, how far they can push it before they have to back off legally, contractually. 140 games. If it goes past that, all of a sudden now you got to start paying back the TV money. And billionaires do not like to pay money. Ain't that something? You got all the money in the world, but now you don't want to pay.
Right. It's, I just find it frustrating. It's, as a fan, like my birthday's in April. I go every year for my birthday, go to a Cubs game. Typically with my brother or whoever wants to roll with. The people have traditions. People love this game. Fans love this game, right? And the way that it's this whole thing has been going about, and the way that the veil has been pulled out from that like the romance with baseball. It's like that's gone. It's out the window. It's like you see what they are. You see them at wholesale who they are. They don't give a shit about the fans. They don't typically honestly. I don't think they really care about the product as much anymore. They just want to go ahead and get to the money. It just seems to me like they're the changes in baseball, the way that the owners have been acting, it's just not good. I was listening to someone, I forgot who it was on I know it was on yesterday on the radio somewhere, but they were talking about how it's almost as if they know that they're going to get you. We were talking about it with the Bears. They know they have you on the hook. They're like a dealer. They know they got you. They know you're going to come back. So it doesn't fucking matter what they do right now. They could go ahead and save a buck if they want, and then it'll help them in the back end. They don't care what happens to the fan base right now. You're losing fans. Major League Baseball to me is losing. A lot of fans are losing it quick. And I know we got to get out of here, so I'll shut up about baseball. But it's a disappointment, Shawn. Like you and me both understand that. It's a very disappointing feeling.
Well, again, once you start to hit that point because they need 3 weeks, preferably 4 for spring training. So the whole month of April. Again, once you hit less than 140 games, okay, then the owners have to start paying back the TV money. And they're not going to do that. I guarantee you, as we get closer, the deal, it's going to be done. It's going to be done. Because think of it from the owner's perspective. They still get the TV money up to this point. They missed paying a whole month of salaries. What more do you want? Okay, so it's as the time draws closer, you'll see a deal get done. Owners are going to be a lot more willing and giving as the time draws closer. Listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears. Okay, we're going to talk NFL football. We're going to talk Bears just got done with with the NFL Combine. The new regime is down there checking out the potential draft picks down in Indy, which is exactly why I want an indoor stadium, so we can get the Combine here. But that's another story. And there are a lot of people who opened some eyes. So we're going to talk about those with my man Ken Davis on the other side of the break, and we're going to welcome our guy Zach Pearson and see what his thoughts are on who the Bears should go after. So don't go anywhere, folks. Ken Davis and Zach Pearson coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. NHL Sunday, the Lightning beat the Blackhawks 6-3. Chicago led at 1-0 after the first, but trailed 4-1 after the second. Tampa scored 3 more times in the third. Chicago with goals from Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, and Dylan Strome. They each added an assist. Marc-Andre Fleury made 26 saves. The Hawks are back home tomorrow night against Anaheim. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop. Big matchup tonight as the Bulls visit the 76ers. Chicago 4th in the Eastern Conference, looking to snap a 4-game slide. They've fallen 3.5 games out of first place. The Sixers coming off a loss, but are second in the conference, tied with Milwaukee, 3 games behind Miami. Illinois basketball wrapped up the regular season with a 74-72 win over Iowa Sunday. The Illini with the top seed. The Illini have the top seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll play Friday against the winner of Thursday's 8th seed Michigan, 9th seed Indiana matchup. For lightning fast sports updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of the most popular sports apps in North America. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Sports Zone Chicago.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're not shopping spring essentials at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just got 20% off the cutest outfit from Sonoma Goods for Life, 25% off Hurley, which my son loves, and 25% off Champion and Adidas. Did I mention I also got an extra 15% off and earned Kohl's cash? Here's to longer days and more time to save. Select styles, 15% offer ends March 20th. Hurley, Champion, Adidas, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
You're riding around, it's like going on a go-kart.
And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
my happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your mow. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a deer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this House Music Monday edition. And you see, that was the intro for my mans and them.
See me? Could Brandon see me? Because I was putting some stank on it.
Bro, I wish everybody could see you in the back.
Because I was putting extra stank on it that
time. My man is coming fresh off a baby making concert at the UC, boy. Oh, man. Woo-wee. How was the concert this weekend, dog?
Listen,
I felt like I was there, dude, because everyone was going live.
I keep all that to myself. And also I just tried to record, like I tried to do about 10 seconds of the stuff that I like or the stuff that was like, damn, that was cold, right? So just to do the rundown. Wait, do you want to do this before Zach here? Because I don't want to take up Zach.
No, let's talk to Zach. And
let's do it. Let's let that go. We'll do it at the bottom. Yeah,
I know we'll get crazy and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're gonna go deep into it when we talk about. Because I thought about this show. I was like, oh, we're gonna have some time to talk about this today.
Hey, well, our next guest is a good friend of the program. He's been rocking with us for a couple of years, and he's a lot taller in person than I thought. He's like, what are you, like 6'4", dude?
Really?
He's like 6'2", 6'3".
Zach is pretty tall, man.
Yeah, he's tall. I'm like, I saw him when he was sitting down. We were at camp. I was like, "Hey, Zach, what's going on?" And I'm walking, and he's walking, and we're still in the stands. So sometimes you can't really tell how tall someone is because you're looking down. And I'm walking down. All of a sudden, I'm walking down like, damn, dude, you're pretty damn tall, bro. Hey, you didn't tell me this when we were on the show, Mike. No, he covers the Bears for BearReport.com, part of 24/7 Sports. You can find him on Twitter at Zach. That's Z-A-C-K. Zach_Pearson. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Zach Pearson. Zach, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good. 6'1". I'm not good at basketball, unfortunately. I didn't get that gene anywhere. But no, yeah, I've been told I'm a little taller than I look on here.
You're only 6'1"? Dude, it looked like you're 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, 6'1". Yep, 6'1", and didn't put it to use in terms of being athletic. So.
But you know what? I guess in Zoom or StreamYard doesn't help. But
No.
just looking at you now, I would think you're 5'8".
Yes,
right.
Yes, that's what I thought.
So you would catch me. Listen, you would have caught me off guard because you're taller than me. Because I would be like, damn, Zach, I would have thought, you know what I'm saying? Like we were around here, like, oh yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah, no.
So you like pulling out on people. You like, I'm gonna show them. See this Zach height that I got for him.
I'll tell you one thing. I was like 5 foot in high school up until about senior year. Then like after senior year, I just kind of I had
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. I was like 5'2", 5'3", I'd say, around that area. And then it was crazy. Yeah. I'm glad though.
I feel you. I was the same way. I was short. I was real short in high school, and then I had a growth spurt between my junior and senior year, lifting weights and height wise too. So no, I feel you. I feel you. No. You know, you have long legs. He's got long legs, and so that helps with the illusion. Like, I'm serious. I thought he was 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah,
you know,
so
I exaggerate to 6'5". Like, damn, he's like 6'12". Jesus.
No, I wish I was like 6'5". That'd be awesome. Yeah. No, I enjoyed the opening banter too. I believe what was that New Edition at United Center?
New Edition, Jodeci and Charlie Wilson.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Followed up by the Batman movie. I took the family to see the Batman movie yesterday.
Okay. Oh, that's a great weekend.
Yeah. And I'm very critical of Batman movies.
And he's got your seal of approval.
Dude, I never went to go see the shimmering vampire stuff that Patterson was in at the beginning of his career. That wasn't my vibes. He may be my Batman. That's saying a lot, right? That's it.
Oh,
he may because I mean, listen, my Batman was Michael Keaton, right? Yeah. That was my Batman. But you know what? I gave up and was like, I have to cede this to Christian Bale because one, Christian Bale did 3 compared to Keaton's 2, but also it was better. Christian, if you really let go of your nostalgia, it ended up being better. Especially if we take the Ra's al Ghul one out, right? Yeah. But this one, this grunge, and I mean Seattle grunge, Batman. I don't know, y'all. They may have hit it, and it's, you know how they always try to make Gotham dirty but yet epic. It was dirty in its own aesthetic, but they didn't try to make like the scene where Bane is in the football stadium and is blowing up and how they didn't try to make, if it was big, it was big. And then of course they were filming in London, but they still used parts of Chicago like the subway, the championship row on LaSalle, like he jumps off of that building. It's supposed to be the police station or whatever. Like they still use it's a mixture of London and Chicago, I believe is what it's supposed to be. They did it really well. I'm just going to be honest with you that the actors, this because I don't want to reveal any of it. Having a younger, and he's not like young, but a younger Commissioner Gordon and Jeffrey Wright to actually fight with Batman and to check him at times, it was pretty good.
Jeffrey Wright from Shaft, the Dominican guy, or the black dude who plays the Dominican dude. Jeffrey Wright,
the black guy. Jeffrey Wright's been in everything. And actually, Jeffrey Wright. Wait, did you watch? It's hard for me to say.
I remember he was Peoples. He was Peoples in Shaft. It's like because I take care of my peoples.
I don't go when I say Jeffrey Wright. I don't go to Shaft.
I do.
I don't go. But that's
He's stabbing himself like God. I'm like, why are you stabbing yourself? Why are you ice picking yourself, bro? That's stupid.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner. I mean, he's not Commissioner Gordon. I'm sorry, he's Lieutenant Gordon in this movie. Okay. All right, him as Lieutenant Gordon was actually. Yep. Pretty. They did a really good job with this. I'll leave it at that. Everyone, check it out. It's a really good. Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz did a really good job as Catwoman.
Okay.
Because like for instance, I love Halle Berry, but that role was a bad role.
for her.
You know what I'm saying? Like that they didn't even set her up to succeed really in that role, right? So we could push her out. And I can't even really remember Michelle Pfeiffer is back, how many years ago that was or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been, no, she's better than Hathaway. Okay. She's better than like she's pretty good. Like they did, and this is the last part, how they refigured the history. If you just kind of, you ain't gotta have to be like fully in depth into Batman and DC, but how they kind of fixed them, I was like, that's pretty cool how they did that. And that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I think I'll take Mom's today.
Yeah,
so I know it's 3 hours we could do in the afternoon.
Yeah,
early
do it,
evening.
Shawn. Y'all. Oh, and where you're at, go to, and I don't know as far as her hearing if it'll bother her.
No,
I took the family out to Crestwood. They have an Adobe theater out there. And I don't mean Adobe just when we're talking about the sound, but also they have this new thing called Adobe visuals where it's darker and it's crisp and the chairs rattle and everything. Take her out to Crestwood and go to the Adobe theater. It's Theater 17 out in Crestwood. It was pretty good.
So you got a booty shaker and stuff in there?
Yeah, it's really it's really behind you where it's shaking on the top half, but it was really good. It was a nice experience. I wanted to get the kids out since we had went out. Everyone enjoyed themselves as we just did this ad for the Batman.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people enjoyed themselves down in Indianapolis this weekend too. There was a lot of I feel the need for speed. What was it? 13 or 14 different wide receivers ran up 4 or better. So there's definitely going to be some pickings there, a lot of meat on that bone when the Bears pick at number 39. Zach, give me your thoughts, Papa. You looking at wide receiver first? You're looking at O-line first? Me and I have been going back and forth for the last week and a half. He wants the O-lineman, and I get it. I understand completely. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But I want somebody who takes a fucking 3-yard drag to the house. And like, where the hell did he go?
My preference, I think, you need both. You obviously need the speed. You need a playmaker on offense for Justin Fields. I think Ryan Poles is going to build through the trenches. I mean, he's pretty much hinted at it multiple times in the 2 big pressers he's had. So it wouldn't shock me to see them go maybe, like a combo of O-line and free agency, spend your money there, and then draft, a wide receiver at number 39 overall. Or you could flip it too. I think looking, before we get to the draft, looking at free agency, I don't think they're going to spend big bucks on like one single player. I think they're going to kind of spread it around, instead of going after, let's say if Chris Godwin hits the open market, I don't think he's going to.
Or Amari Cooper, like they're talking.
Yeah. Instead of spending that much money on one player, maybe they go, a younger guy, or not a younger guy, but a cheaper option, maybe like someone like Christian Kirk, and then, maybe another tier 4 free agent, whether that's an offensive lineman or not. But if they do spend big, I'd like it on offensive line. I think free agency, if you go out and get like a Ryan Jensen, shore up the center position,
yeah,
that would help your offensive line
big time.
I think they're going to make change. I think they're going to make more changes than people think. The way Poles was talking, and he was describing his offensive linemen and then describing his defensive backs and what they want, it's like no one really fits the mold of offensive line, and that doesn't bode well for James Daniels, who's going to be a free agent. Cody Whitehair could save you some money if you do the cut. I think it's post June 1st. I got to double check on that. And then what do you do with Tevin Jenkins? Does he slot into guard? Does he go back out to the tackle? And then does Larry Borum stay out there on the right side? So they have a lot of decisions to make, and it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be any major splashes. That'd be my best prediction.
Real quick, what tier do you have a DJ Shark or a Scantling as far as free agents?
Yeah, I think Shark would be like that tier 2, maybe tier 3. I look at it this way. I kind of break it down like this. Day 1 and 2, if you get like the big signings, like Godwin gets tagged or something like that, or Cooper eventually goes somewhere. Those are like my tier 1 big time players. I'd put Shark at like bottom tier 2, maybe like high tier 3, and then Scantling probably tier 3. But I think Scantling would be pretty cheap. I love Shark. I think Shark would be a good addition. They need someone that can stretch the field, take the top off the defense. And Marquise Goodwin had that speed last year. They just couldn't figure it out. He got hurt. So give me one of those guys, relatively cheap, 8, 9, 10 million per year, compared to, these big guys are going to get a ton of money. So I prefer they go that route.
Yeah. I'm thinking if it was my druthers, you put the general manager hat on me. I'm thinking maybe a center, Ryan Jensen. I still want to see what I got in Borum and Jenkins. Can you commit to losing the weight to the weight? Can you get your body, not even losing the weight? Can you get your body to the way I want it? You're a professional athlete. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You better hire a chef. Do whatever the hell you got to do. Get your body to where it needs to be. Then I need to see you play.
Yeah,
because we don't know what we have. We really don't know, especially with a competent play caller. Because I keep going back to this. Remember in 2020, what are we in 2020? Okay, when Laser was calling the plays, we didn't really complain a lot about Charles Leno. We didn't complain about that offensive line.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Because they kept running the ball. Because they kept keeping the defensive line off balance. And if you can do that, you may not be the best offensive line in the world, but you're in unison. You're in sync. And the way you become in sync is when you run the ball, because you got a combo blocks, you have aces, and depending on your terminology, you got combo blocks, and you have to scoop to the backer and things like that. You get your rhythm, okay, and that helps a lot. So again, you may not be the best offensive line, but if everybody's on the same page, you're going to be a great offensive line. You may not be the sum will be much greater than the parts.
Yeah, and I think when Poles was talking about getting lighter and faster and trying to shape his offensive line, to me that kind of almost screamed outside run zone. What they kind of want to do, get outside the tackles, use their speed. I think that if Tariq Cohen could get healthy, I think that bodes well for someone like him. You can kind of use him how you want to. And you have David Montgomery still and Khalil Herbert. I don't think Damian Williams will be back. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. If I think you just got to really start in those trenches. If you can land a capable center, because let's be real, Sam Mustipher was not a very good center last year. I mean, he was getting blown up at the point of attack every time almost. Nothing to what we saw at the end of 2020, where he was actually pretty good.
But that's my point, Zach. Is when you don't run the ball often, they know you're just going to pass. When Justin Fields is dropping back 35, 40 times, the dude doesn't need to drop back 35, 40 times.
Yeah,
when you're doing that, you're giving what you're saying is like, I get to just run all over you, which I totally hate the kick step. I really do. I don't understand why you don't fire off and then kick step. I really don't. But that's another. I digress. Sam Mustipher, we weren't complaining about Sam Mustipher very much in the preseason, the season prior, because you're running the ball. Give me a competent offensive coordinator, a play caller who's going to keep that defensive line on their toes, keep them honest, and it gives them a fighting chance. Now, I'm not putting a gold jacket on Mustipher by any stretch, okay? But if used properly, these guys can be serviceable. But I still would like a change of center.
Maybe they don't want serviceable, but I mean, I think that may be the issue when you're trying to start something. Part of what you're saying, Shawn, I think makes sense. You just can't throw away these bodies, you know what I'm saying? Because you have all these free agents or whatever, and you only have 5 draft picks, but you're still trying to establish your culture and how many of these guys are really going to be there while you're establishing. So, Zach, I guess my question is twofold. Does actually may go further than that. You mentioned James Daniels. One, that's money. I mean, as far as even regardless if Ryan Poles views his athleticism, and Ryan Poles may still view him as athletic, but his body type, BMI-wise, may still not be what he's asking for. And then you got to look long-term how that's going to end up as far as if his body isn't there now and you're about to give him a lot of money. Yep. So how do you think, if you had to do this offensive line with the information, and it's little information that we have of Ryan Poles, but what we're assuming from what Ryan Poles said, who are the guys that you think are going to be here? And then, because you mentioned that you want to go after Jensen or at least secure the line if you're going to use big free agent money. So then with pick 39, which way would you go with that?
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to make all those decisions. Because, that evaluations, I mean, they've been really hard in those evaluations early on. And I'm sure they found a lot of bad reviewing the tape last year. With James Daniels, he's an interesting one. You bring up a good point. I mean, he's young. He's still very, very young. And I thought he would be better at center than he would be at guard. Now, when he came into the league, the Bears, they had Cody Whitehair at center, and then they tried moving things around again and did Daniels at center, then switched him. And they just had the rotation. I think he could be a really good lineman in this league. Can he be a really good lineman where, a team that needs an offensive lineman other than you is going to pay him a lot of money and you're going to match that? I don't know. I think that's a good point because you have to look at the future of this. Can James Daniels turn into a quicker, a lighter type of offensive lineman that's going to fit your scheme? That's something you probably have to really sit down and figure out in your evaluations and talks with him. I think he's going to be gone. I just think he's going to get so much money. Poles even said in the presser, you overpay in free agency. That's just how it is. You overpay. And that's why, the salary cap, you always see all these changes, we're moving money this way. We're doing this. We're freeing up this. And it's just, you have to calculate it just right. So I guess to answer your question, I don't think Daniels will be back. I think you're going to obviously keep Jenkins and Borum. I think you can't give up on them yet. I think it's just be way too early to do that. I do think, though, they're going to test out Jenkins at guard and kind of see if he fits in there. And then from there, I think they'll keep Cody White here. I think he can kind of be a little bit of an anchor on your line, but you're going to have to go out and find a free agent or a draft pick. So then you look at number 39, someone like the kid out of Boston College, Zion Johnson. He might be a solid interior offensive lineman. The problem is it's actually it's not a problem. The good news is for the Bears is this draft is loaded at defensive back, wide receiver, and up front it's loaded at tackle. So a target on your board is probably going to be there at number 39. So if you look at you have someone like Zion Johnson, or you have someone like a wide receiver that you really like in Watson or David Bell or Pickens, you'll have your choice at 39. It's just going to be, do you want to go wide receiver? Do you want to go defensive back? Do you want to go offensive line? I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see. But, I mean, there's also some veterans out there, too, in free agency. Was the guy out in Seattle, Dwayne Brown, as a tackle? Maybe you could bring in to help out if you want to move Tevin Jenkins inside. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm the Bears, though, and if I had to make the call, I would try to go after Ryan Jensen as hard as possible. I would, if that's the big money I'm going to spend, I'd feel comfortable because that gives me an anchor at center. It lets Whitehair play one of the guard spots. Maybe Jenkins could play the other guard spot. You got Borum, and then you maybe go out and find another cheap tackle that kind of holds you over and hope that someone falls to you in the second round.
Guys, we're joined by Zach Pearson from BearReport.com. Talking Chicago Bear football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Who did you wide receivers? Talk to me about who you liked and who you think the Bears can realistically get.
Yeah, Christian Watson's just been blowing people away.
Man, I'm pissed about that, dude. I want to keep him on the down low. Come on, man.
Yeah, he had a big Senior Bowl. So he actually didn't have a big Senior Bowl game. He had a big week of practice at Senior Bowl. It really impressed people. And then kind of took it into the combine. So he's met with the Bears twice. Yep. He's a guy I think should still be there at 39. I think there's still, you look at the wide receivers, man, there's, Drake London's probably going to go right away. Olave, the other Ohio State kid. You have two Alabama receivers that are probably going to go before Watson. You have Treylon Burks who's up there. That's 6 right there. I mean,
who's the kid from Georgia that everyone likes?
Pickens.
Pickens.
I think he'll be there in the second round, but he'll probably go before Watson. You have a guy like Sky Moore who's just shooting up the draft boards right now. David Bell, his stock to me is kind of, I can see him going early second. I can see him going late third. It just kind of depends on what the evaluators see. But, man, I love Watson. I would love Pickens. Olave probably played himself out of falling anyway.
I know. Hey, asshole, stop running 4.2 something, knucklehead.
It's holy. There was a little bit of me that was like, man, maybe he could get pushed back.
Dude, what are you doing?
Me too. Me too.
And then
4.3,
yeah, and it's it's nothing too. And it's just okay.
Justin's like, dude, what the hell were you doing?
Yeah,
he's like trying to make some money, Papa.
Right.
Trying to get in that first round, that high.
Trying to make Justin Fields money, baby.
Yeah, I would say that sweet spot right now. And obviously we still have pro days, so that could change. And also the draft, man, things could change like that.
Yes,
players
can.
Teams could fall in love with players. So I would say right now the sweet spot, you're looking at probably Watson, Sky Moore, David Bell, Pickens in that area, barring, someone that falls, surprisingly, I don't think that's going to happen. I would say those, 4, I think that was 4 to 5 of them right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I do like a big wide receiver and watching Watson from North Dakota State, that dude is very athletic. I see him and you don't realize he's 6'5", but he's moving like a 5'10" guy. he's very like I can see him being like playing basketball and being like a point guard, like a big point guard. Like his shiftiness, like Randy Moss was 6'3", 6'4", a good basketball player, but he didn't have. You could tell he's not a very shifty player. He just running right by it. This guy's got a lot of shiftiness in him. Excuse me. In addition to freaking straight line speed and a crazy 30-something, almost 40-inch vert. That's and we just got to see. And I saw in watching his tape, I watched a couple of his games over the weekend because I didn't do jack spit all weekend. Dude, he'll go up and get it. So now it's just, and you want someone to dominate in there if it's a FCS, all right, and he did. It's just unfortunate that North Dakota State runs the ball 92.7% of the time. So, but seeing him go up and get it, seeing the athleticism. I really like him, and then I just everyone keeps talking about him. Like, God bless it. Stop talking about him. Let him fall.
Well, the good news is, I mean, it's a deep class, and a lot of people say that this quarterback class is weak and really bad. There's still going to be 4 to 5 quarterbacks going the first round, and that's going to help the Bears because
big time. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, the players are just going to keep getting pushed back. I mean, you have defensive backs who are getting talked about moving into like Trent McDuffie, Roger McCreary are fringe first round players. The more those guys go, if the Bears are looking for an offensive lineman, are looking for a wide receiver, someone is just going to, push back and fall. Kind of almost how, at the time we didn't know with the medicals with Tevin Jenkins, but a lot of people had him as a first round grade last year, and he kind of fell back. I don't think the Bears are going to trade up for anyone. I don't think that make much sense, especially only having 5 picks. But yeah, there could be someone.
Would they trade down? Would they trade down though?
That's the other thing. It could benefit them. If there's a bunch of players sitting there that are, a lot of teams
they like, why not get back and get an extra player?
Yeah, why not move back, a couple picks in the second round or get an early third and recuperate some picks later on? That's an option. I would say that's a very realistic option. But yeah, we're going to learn a lot about Ryan Poles here in the next 2 months. Free agency and draft. We're going to learn a lot about him. And
Ken, you brought up a great point. And here's why it's a great fucking point. Is he still has the same scouting staff that was there. Okay, because usually they don't change because the amount of work that has to be done and getting
and the calendar year
it just bringing a new scouting staff. It just wouldn't have time. Remember how great these guys were at getting 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks, talent wise, guys we never heard of. If they're going to be able to still do that with a pool of players that's most likely going to drop because of the depth of O-line, cornerback, and wide receiver, the trading back might really be the move for the Bears. And man, imagine if we get a second, a late second and an early third. So now we're picking within 6 spots of each other. Yeah. Like, oh shit, now we got a wide receiver and a tackle or offensive lineman. That might be the move, Ken.
Corner.
Or a corner. Yeah.
I think
if you could come out there with the corner, a young corner who he doesn't have to be as good as Jalen Johnson, but he's adequate and he has upside, and you have that out of the way now, and you have a receiver. And because with the line, if you go lineman in free agency, I still know you need to go lineman in this draft. Yeah. And the reason of having Poles and Cunningham, you better be able to find linemen in it, let alone guards. All right, but you better be able to find linemen in this draft. You guys, that's why you're here. So use that expertise, after spending the free agent capital for offensive lineman to find some studs in the 3rd, in the 5th, and 6th round or whatever. But I want them to get the guys that you're mentioning. But as you just said, Zach, with the depth that you have, and you talked about DT, like I'm going to be really interested in how they look at defensive tackles.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm, especially moving back to a cover 2. I'm interested in to see who they will bring back as far as who may want to come back, but who they're keying in on, looking at how in some ways with Eberflus, it wasn't when you're talking about DeForest Buckner, the traditional guy that we usually think about when we're thinking about, he's disrupting with power, but we're talking about guys disrupting with speed and to be able to get it into the backfield. So like you said, and I've been saying this, we're going to learn some tendencies about Ryan Poles from this draft of free agency that I'm interested in seeing. Will he keep his powder dry, as he likes to kind of talk about so far, about not spending money and not giving up draft equity?
And the other thing, we're probably going to see some signings where we're like, oh, that kind of doesn't make sense a little bit, or who's that guy? They're good players that are not really, superstars or anything like that. I mean, you look at Akeem Hicks a couple, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, I don't remember anyone saying, oh, man, that's a huge signing for the Bears. That's a big splash. And he turned out to be a really damn good player. So I think we'll see a couple of those. I think we'll see some players that maybe we're not really familiar with that could fit the system better rather than just have, the star status out there. But yeah, defense is going to be really interesting too. They say they don't know where Roquan's going to play. They say he's going to be an inside backer. They're trying to figure out their defensive line. I thought they had a really interesting quote about defensive backs where they want playmakers, ball hawks, guys that are aggressive, guys that can tackle. And I'm like, okay, Jalen Johnson's a really damn good corner. I wouldn't consider him a ball hawk yet. I think that's one area he's really got to improve on. Eddie Jackson's flashed that in the past, but it's kind of just gone away. Other than that, I mean, they don't have that on their roster. We don't know what Thomas Graham is. I mean, we just don't. And it's not Thomas Graham's fault. We just don't know what he is. So I think they're going to be an aggressive defense. They're going to be a defense where, it'll have the same qualities, kind of the Lovey defenses from a while back. They're going to hit you. They're going to tackle hard. They're going to try stripping out the ball. They're going to be aggressive. It should be a
Stop
fun
it!
one
I got
to
goosebumps,
watch.
dude.
I know. It should be a fun one to watch.
I got goosebumps when you said that shit, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Hey,
and we get probably Khalil Mack's hand in the ground too, which
Very
a lot of
good
people
question.
forget. He was really damn good in Oakland in that role too. So
he was an All-Pro and with his hand standing up and with his hand in the dirt, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
One of our guys, and one of the questions I want to ask you is, how real were the Khalil Mack trade talks during the combine?
So I have a rule essentially on the beat. If Brad Biggs is saying something, you kind of pay attention to it. He's really plugged in. He knows his stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's going to be an interesting one. I was kind of going through this a little bit the other day with a friend, and I said, if you could pick out the players that are untouchable on this roster, guys you would not trade, I could only come up with, I think, 3 to 4 max, and Khalil Mack was not one of them. I think, in my personal opinion, if you could get out of that deal, get that second or third rounder, maybe another player, you have to listen to it. I don't think Ryan Poles is married to any of these players on this roster at all. I think Justin Fields is the player you build around, you can keep. I think Roquan Smith, obviously, he's one. See, I'm even struggling sometimes to find.
That's what I was about to say. When you said 3, I was like, whoa.
Jalen Johnson would be up there for me. I think Dave Montgomery is a hell of a player. I do think, though, the disadvantage for him is you can find running backs, which is unfortunate.
Stop picking on us, you son of a...
It's the truth, though.
Yeah,
I didn't say it wasn't true. I didn't say it wasn't true.
I know.
Just stop picking on us.
But I mean, but to go back to the Mac thing, I think if fans wouldn't like it because you don't want a complete teardown, but if you could get picks for Mac and Quinn, I at least listen to it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be here this year. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. So personally, I didn't hear about anything while I was roaming the hotels in Indianapolis, but yeah, I would pay attention to it just in case.
I would say it would behoove them to keep it this year, right? Because with the new system now, there's one thing you got, especially a healthy Khalil Mack. All right, you got 2. No, he played with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter. So I think it would behoove them because now you got 2 stud elite pass rushers and you have 4 down linemen. So what are you going to do? You're going to double team both of them? You don't have enough linemen. You don't have enough. You got 5 offensive linemen. You can't dedicate 4 guys to 2 people. You still got 2 other offensive linemen left. So I think to keep his defense and keep that the strong part of the team, I think it would in my humble opinion, I think it would be best if he kept those guys.
Yeah.
Just because you know what you got. You know what you got in.
If you kept one. I'm with Zach. I mean, because
you at least listen,
Yeah, where are we going? Are we about to win a Super Bowl this year? Probably not, right? And then we're in a situation. No. We're in a situation where then they're both a year older. When we're talking about Quinn will be 32, then Mac could be Quinn will be 33, and then Mac will be 32. And that in that year you get less equity for him. If you can get it, the real thing with Mac is this: if you can get a 2 for Mac, unfortunately, I'm cool with it. Because, and we were talking about this on the UC last week with Hogue, and shout out to Hogue leaving the NBC Sports Chicago, wish him number success. But if you could sit there and Alex was like, yeah, I wouldn't trade him. And I'm like, dude, it's the health. If he was healthy, I would be willing to go down this rabbit hole with Khalil Mack. But if I'm still gambling on if he's going to be healthy, and I could get him out and keep Quinn, because at least I know from just 2 seasons, a smaller sample size, but Quinn may be able to stay healthy easier, right? That I would and I would get more for Mac. I would probably get that second rounder for Mac, and then hope I could use a myriad of players off that edge to kind of cover up, because unfortunately it's not when he was healthy, but if you look at the totality of the season, you didn't get a lot out of that other edge rusher. So that's why I would have to do it. I'm with you. It would be cool because you would start a defense that's already got a nice amount of talent, but where does it really get you in the next couple of seasons when at least one of those players may add something to the fold that can benefit you for 4 or 5 years moving forward?
Yeah, and it's, we're going to see. I mean, they said it's going to be a quick type of, they want to compete. It's going to be a quick, quote unquote rebuild. I think that the way that Poles and Eberflus are looking at this is we want to turn over the roster as much as possible within the next 2 to 3 years, getting our guys in here. Does that mean you trade Khalil Mack right now? I don't know. Like you said, I listen to it. I listen to the deal. If I can get, something that intrigues me, I'd probably do it. But I think eventually, they're going to, within 2 years, there's going to be a lot of new faces on this roster. And, maybe the 3 guys that I said were probably the only ones here, maybe 4, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum, depends on your offensive line. But we're going to see a lot of turnover. And I don't know, man. I just seeing the reactions on Twitter, I feel like a lot of people think like this team is ready to go on a Super Bowl run. And
no.
They're not even close to the Bengals. They're not close to the Bengals.
No, they're not.
They're not at all.
No, well, it's going to be interesting to see, and I hope I would just like to see this defense because it'll help other people. It'll help Roquan Smith. It'll help that cornerback that whoever is opposite Jalen Johnson. It'll help your new slot corner. It'll help these guys a lot, with the pressure that we're anticipating. A healthy Khalil Mack and a Robert Quinn can put on a quarterback, especially after the season Robert Quinn had last year. Keeping that defense strong and staying competitive, I think it would be a good.
Here's another thing before really quick. When you're the Bears and you look at it, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's probably going to come back to Green Bay. It looks like that's happened. I mean, this year's almost a wash anyway. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't look. If Rodgers comes back 1-2 years, I mean, you're still building for the future too. So you're trying to figure out that you're trying to figure out the pieces to the puzzle. But then you have Detroit, who has they have some good young pieces. Yeah. They got a couple draft picks this year too. So yeah, you got to play it right. I'm like I said earlier, I'm glad I don't have that job to do that. That is a tough one. Hey Zach, great stuff, buddy. Yeah. I appreciate it. But do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Zach ZACK_Pearson. And you can read my work on just bearreport.com. You can follow the Bear Report on Twitter, just Bear Report. And as always, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll chat soon.
Have a good one, Zach. Be safe, man.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, now. Guys, that was Zach Pearson from bearreport.com. Man,
Great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
I keep getting excited, dude. Because either route that we go, can work. You know what I mean? It's not
you can do. But see, this is the thing, Shawn. This is because you're a lover. You will love people, man. I know you will like to hold on to them, right? And I'm a lover, but sometimes I realize I got to let you go. It's better for me to let you go. You don't have to let both of them go when we're talking about Quinn and Mack. Because I mean, just think about it. Last year, you didn't really have Mack in that deep. You were 5th in sacks. Think about that. You were 5th in sacks last year. If you get a 3 technique Quinn, and let's hope maybe some of them kids could step up, but you bring in another old edge rusher to be situational or whatever. And I hate to say this, but with the health of Khalil Mack, you may be able to get the same production out of now to be a down lineman, but out of edge rusher that you got. But and you add more to the future. I don't think you have to rip the defense down. And Matt Eberflus is supposed to make this defense better, right? So even if you're cutting off your nose to a degree to spite your face as far as trading Khalil Mack, and you're really not cutting off your nose depending on what that draft pick would be. But even if you're doing that, we're also looking at, and as you just said, you're getting goosebumps, the fact that Matt Eberflus is supposed to hold these players accountable. They're supposed to be more detailed. They're supposed to be gang tackling. As we said last week, they're supposed to be picking up the ball even if it's whistled down and running to the end zone just in case if it's overturned and it is a turnover. Those things from the time when Lovey was here, the attention to detail again, and like that's going to have that defense take another leap anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
that could offset that loss.
Yes, it could offset. But now, to your point, if it's going to offset it, well, what about if you had it? I'm fine if they're both here, because one, I think it may talk about what you couldn't get for them, because I'm not talking about giving them away for nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But like with the value, if you can get a second rounder, and if we truly believe Ryan Poles is gifted when it comes to using the draft for the benefit of your team, it may be more beneficial to start making that move and get some of that future salary cap money off the books. But if they're both here, I'm fine with it. But you have to truly investigate it and be open to it, because one, you didn't trade for that player. That's not your player. And two, his window may not be aligned with the window that Matty Eberflus and Ryan Poles have as far as when they think this team is going to be able to start contending.
I agree. I agree. I see both points, and holding them or trade them. You know, I truly just want one season of those two together.
It would be.
I want to see how healthy. I want to see those because that should have been this past season.
It would be nice if they both are healthy. It will be nice, and let alone that'll be the thing. Look, this is the trick part too. So let's just say they're healthy next year, right? And let's say the Bears draft or trade for a set, whatever, get a 3 technique. I wonder really how good that 3 technique really is. If you got those two demons on the outside, right? Because then it'll be interesting if both is gone, and then we'll be like, wait, that dude, the 3 technique guy, you're not as special. You're not an Aaron Donald type. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm what you're saying. I'm interested in seeing how they're going to go down these roads and what they're going to do.
It's going to be fun. It really is, and you know how it's all intertwined. Free agency, what they get in free agency. You know,
I wouldn't make that deal for you can get. I don't even know if Miko. I mean, it's the problem with Miko Hardman is that when they drafted him, they didn't know if Tyreek Hill was going to be able to play or not. So him and Tyreek Hill basically they in their offense are close to similar players, even though Tyreek Hill is a whole nother beast. I don't know if the Bears are getting back enough slightly in that deal for Nikhil Hardman in that situation. I don't know about that. Let me see that again. The Chiefs for a second round. No, you know what? If I can get the second round, I confused the picks that he had right here. I would maybe do that. I would maybe do that move. To be honest, maybe. I mean,
because you're getting a 6.
You're getting a 6. Yeah, I probably would do that deal. Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? That's. Yeah, if Kansas City would take it, I probably would, because I'm getting a second round pick and I'm getting another body in that receiver room. Yeah, I would do it. That's a good one. I don't know if Kansas City would do it. Also, with their cap situation, because, man, I don't know. But, yeah, I would definitely probably.
Yeah, their cap situation's got to be crazy because you got
to be crazy. Because you got to look at what they've had to sign these last couple of years.
2 tackles along with the QB. So
now, just also Clark. They re-signed Clark. Matthew? I mean, I think he got fresh. Like they got, man, their cap. Even though we know you can manipulate the cap, but sooner or later those chickens gonna come home to roost. As I'm talking about the
cap. Yeah, I'm getting excited. I'm really anxious to see what he is, who he is, what he's like, what he's about. I'm talking about Ryan Poles. You know, he's talking a good game. And that's nice, but you know, talk is cheap. Let's see if you bullshit us like the last, you know, regime, because they talk good too. You know, he was a car salesman.
Yeah, I you know what? This is all bias right here. I think he won't be as much of a car salesman as Ryan Pace was.
I don't think he will either.
I don't
get that feel from him.
Yeah, I don't get that feel, and I feel like. I don't think, and this would be interesting to see after the Bear gets on him, the Bear, whatever this culture. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm looking for. After the Bear stank has permeated his clothing, it'd be interesting if he still would sit there and take responsibility for mistakes, because there will be mistakes. Period. Like, there will be players that are signed that do things that you don't expect as far as performance or off the field. There will be coaching changes that won't pan out because they just all don't work like that, right? And if he's the type of guy that's like, for instance, and I'm not saying that this guy's a world beater because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but if he's like Chris Ballard was after getting chewed out by Jim Irsay, and he's like, yeah, I just got my ass chewed out, and we got to try to figure, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't lie. We all know what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the worst part is like, especially with social media and how engaged we all are, the smoke screens that teams used to be able to pull with planting stories, it's not as easy as what it used to be. Right. So you may as well just be upfront. You don't have to be detailed and tell us everything. That's not, you don't have to let us know how the entire recipe, but we know enough to know you made a mistake. You know, we know enough to where, and this is a CEO and not the GM, where the Ted Phillips shouldn't say, you know, we really did outside of quarterback, everything was fine. You know, like don't do us like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, don't think we're that stupid, to be honest with you, because that's when it gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you how excited I am. You know, I really can't. It's football now, especially with the lack of baseball going on. It's really, and then seeing all those wide receivers running under 4.4, then seeing all those
linemen
dude was running like a 4.8. Like, dude, you're 325 pounds. How you run a 4.8?
Yo, dudes are like 6'5", like you just said, 320 running 5'1s. Dude, you know how nuts, you know how crazy. We just did UC to understand that. I was like, you know, and that's the only, because I recorded everything. The only one that I had enough time to really kind of watch was the old lineman run. And my first thought was, dude, what if one of these 6'6", 310 dudes that are running a 5 flat was running down on my ass? What the hell? Like, how? Like, just because you know you've been in fights, so you start processing the different ways you're gonna try to handle this. But this dude is 6'5", barreling down and athletic as you know what, right? Like, man, it's like Mike Tyson Punch Out. You got one shot that may work. After that, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying?
You better look for that wink. You better look for that wink.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, the hippo's belly come out, you punch him in his belly.
Yeah.
Like, man, dude, it's like, oh, but those old line. Look, listen, the fact that all those young men were running the way they were, and also the BMI of those old linemen. That's the crazy part. We're not talking about Richie Incognito. You know, like, I got my gut out here.
Yeah.
I'm a brawler. No, we're talking about these dudes were big men, but they weren't fat. You know what I'm saying? They were thick, but these weren't fat gentlemen. They had, of course, more weight on them because they have to block. But it wasn't like I'm like all the carbs I'm consuming are unhealthy. Like, dude, those old linemen look ridiculous last week, to say the least.
Dude, and I'm even okay with. You know
right,
what? It just made me think of like Nate Newton.
Yeah.
You know, like Nate Newton is short and pudgy, and that dude could move.
Anytime I hear Nate Newton, I love Nate Newton as a kid growing up. I think about when he got caught with all that weed in his trunk, and he was like, all I wanted to do was sell good weed. It's like that dude was, for everybody know, he was moving them units. All right, that dude was not playing. He was not trying to be your regular weed dealer. He was trying to be a kingpin. All right. Like,
when I think of Nate Newton, I think of him chasing down. I forgot what quarter, who somebody had a linebacker or a corner. It picks a linebacker, and it was picks. It was a pick off of Troy Aikman. And this dude's running, and all of a sudden you see Nate Newton. I'm like, he's not going to catch him. He's not going to catch him. He's not going to. And he dove and tripped him up. I'm like, this mother Hubbard ran about 50-something.
No, people forget, man. People forget, man. People, man. People forget, man. And Nate Newton was that dude, man. Him, and you look at Eric Allen.
Eric Williams.
Thank you, Eric Williams.
Yeah, dude, they both had some anger issues that they released on the football field.
Right, as you should.
Oh, it's Larry Allen, not Nate Newton.
That's what I meant. That's what I was thinking about when I said Eric.
No, that was Nate Newton.
I said Eric. Newton. I said Eric Allen. I meant Larry Allen is what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
I meant Larry Allen.
Yeah, dude, they were strong. I think
dude, that may be that's still probably the greatest O-line ever.
Arguably, hell yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
I'm
when trying to think of something else.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think the ones that we could bring, because one, you could bring up Dallas O-line from 5 years ago, right? But the thing was, I don't think any of these lines that have been really good the last 20 years stayed as healthy as that Dallas line stayed back in the early to mid 90s. I don't think they stayed that healthy. You know what I'm saying? Because Emmitt Smith is a great running back. Period. Don't want to take anything away from him, but Lord, that O-line was crazy back.
That was ridiculous. We don't get touched, until the third level.
Right.
Oftentimes, you make a jump cut, and all of a sudden,
I was about to say, dog, it's open. You making jump cuts. No, think about those Emmitt Smith highlights. He's making jump cuts, and nobody's damn near around him, right?
Yeah.
And he's on the second level. I'm saying that he's at the second level, right? And it's like, where's the linebacker? Like, dude, that O-line
just washed everything down. Shoot.
Right.
Jump cut, gone.
It was nice, but man, that O-line was crazy.
Yep. Larry Allen, Nate Newton, Eric Williams, Stepnoski.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was insane, dude. That was crazy, insane. What about who I also like? I like the I think it gives a good Charles Snowden. All right, Charles Snowden gets a chance.
I was thinking about that.
Year.
Yeah. You got Snowden. You have what's the name from the year before? What's
Mario Edwards Jr. No.
No.
Blackston.
It's the one they drafted before Snowden. Travis Gibson.
Travis Gibson, yeah.
You have Travis Gibson had some decent games last year. Like if one of them, because the real thing, and I used to say last year, if one of those guys could just be Mark Anderson, a one-trick pony. Just a one-trick pony, right? Like, dude, I know on the run game, it's gonna be a problem, but we're gonna try to get you out here on clear passing downs. You know what I'm saying? If you could do that, then you could really have something going. That's all I was looking for from Travis Gibson last year. If you can just be Mark Anderson.
Yep.
You put Walter Berry. Oh, dude, it'd be crazy, Armando. It'd be listen, it'd be either one. It would be crazy. Tell Patty I said what's up. I saw that earlier. But yeah, it would be nuts.
That would be wrong. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who. So when you said, okay, still move Mac, I'm like, okay, well, you still have, a Charles, because what if you do get lightning in a bottle and Charles Snowden has a good year, but so does Travis Gibson.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're literally you're replacing Mac with two people, which is what it would take to replace a healthy Khalil Mack.
Healthy, but now we're not talking about and again, I hope he is healthy. Even if he's not here, I hope he's healthy. But like you're saying, but what if we're still getting, unfortunately, part-time due to health, not due to how great he is, player in Khalil Mack? And I mean, you got these guys who can step up and I'm not saying be as well as a healthy Khalil Mack, but health better than an injured prone Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, if you have a good 3 technique guy and if he gets the scheme humming, and I'm not saying they should move him. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like they need to do this. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if they did, I wouldn't be upset. You know what I'm saying? I would. And I'll say this though, had Khalil Mack been healthy the last couple of years, then I would maybe be somewhat upset. And I would still say I see why they're doing it. But also, if Khalil Mack was healthy, they may be able to get one first rounder for him instead of a second rounder if he had been healthy, because they were never going to be able to recoup the picks that they gave away as far as the amount. But if he's healthy, and you could probably, for a healthy Khalil Mack at this point in his career, you could have probably gotten a back end perhaps, but one first rounder. But if you can pull it off, man, you gotta investigate it. You owe it to this team. You owe it to the window that you believe is your window to win a championship, especially if you don't see Khalil Mack contractually and physically fitting into your window.
What about Eddie Jackson, dude? I said this could be the best thing to happen to Eddie Jackson.
Or the worst.
Best or worst. But I think it could be the best because you know what? Now but I mean it's not like he hasn't played under this type of coach. All right, he played at Alabama. All right, he played under
Nick Saban.
Saban. Nick Saban's not a rah-rah, hey, good job, guys. No, get the shit done, or I got 3 5-stars behind you who are about to take your spot. Okay,
right.
You have that's your choice. You play better, or you sit. One or the other, because I got guys who will do just as good a job, maybe even better. They're just younger than you. And this could be the best thing, man. You know what? And I think it might be when you're challenged.
I hope it is. When
you're challenged as a football player, okay, that's when the best comes out of you. Okay.
But you don't think he's been challenged?
No.
Now, I think he's been challenged. I don't know if he respects the person who is challenging him, but I also don't know if he really feels that it's a threat to him. One, because financially, you can't cut me. I'm like the cap hit was too punitive for you to do anything. And then this is the only, because I'll play devil's advocate with this one.
Mm-hmm.
What if the money has changed him? Can you get someone to unchange that? You know, someone who was viewed as a first round pick that broke his tibia, fibula, and ended up one of those bones. That's a good one of those bones. They ended up being drafted in the 6th round, right? And basically worked his way back to getting that money to a degree, because if he was drafted in the 1st round, he would have had a decent amount of cash compared to being drafted in the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Worked his way back and has not been the same player after getting paid. Can you reignite that engine in him to make him want it and want to prove it? Because I'm sure he's been challenged. You know what I'm saying? But I hope Eddie Jackson gets his stuff together. But if you ask me, do I believe he will? Going off of the evidence of the last 2.5 years, I have to say no. And I mean, I want Matt Eberflus. Listen, Matt Eberflus can do that. That will go a lot to tell us about other players he may be able to reignite that are in the building or out of the building that perhaps they can bring in that have failed or have turned off their engine. But if he can reignite a guy, I'll be interested to see what he can do with other players that may be in the same position as Eddie Jackson.
That's a good point, because you know what, that means you could be Chicago be a destination spot for guys trying to revive their career. One last thing, and because if he and I'm telling you, I truly believe that Eddie Jackson will have a good year, because
I hope so.
You know what? So. You sit your ass on the sideline, because I think here's why they're not married to these guys. Mm-hmm. I know you're not going to cut you, but you don't got to play, and you could be mad. And I know you got your money, but what happens if he sits and whoever they have behind him starts playing? Starts peanut punching, starts intercepting balls, just like you used to do, Eddie. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember that 2 years where you were all over SportsCenter,
right?
And all of a sudden, his ego is going to say, "Man, well, I can do that." And you know what? It challenged him, like Vic did to Kyle Fuller. You know, it only made Kyle Fuller first team All Pro for 2 years in a row.
But look at but Kyle Fuller took that challenge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he took, so that like, will he accept the challenge? And it'll tell us a lot about Eddie Jackson, I don't want to. It'll tell us a lot about him. I won't even say it'll tell us a lot about Matt Eberflus, because this is one player, and this may be an isolated situation where this player, to a degree, is kind of done with football. You know what I'm saying? To a degree, you know what I'm saying? Because he's still out there risking his life playing football. But as far as being exceptional, he may be done with putting in that type of effort and know-how.
I think it comes down to the film. How much film is he going to study? Right. I don't think because at that position, a ton of film has to be studied. You are the quarterback of that secondary. That's funny, Brandon. You are the quarterback. You have to understand route concepts. You have to understand, from that perspective. All right, in this formation, they tend to do this. In this formation, they tend to do that. It's a lot of film study. And I remember when Ray Lewis was talking to somebody, and he was just saying that Ed Reed had a big ass mansion. He goes, and had no furniture. Had no furniture. He just had a TV and a remote and a VCR.
Yeah, I did hear him say that.
Just clicking. He goes, if I stop, he goes, Peyton Manning's still watching film. He goes, Peyton Manning still watching film, and that joker's going to get me. And that's the mentality he's got to have, man. And if Eberflus can get him to rearrange his mindset
and know what he's watching when he's watching that tape too.
Well, if you're coming out of Alabama. Yeah. I would anticipate that you have a good football IQ. You have a good head on your shoulders when it comes to football, because again, you're out of position after some shit we went over all week. Next blue chip, next 5-star, come in. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
So I just think he got lazy. I think there was no pressure. There was no, you're going to do this. Okay. Who are you going to put in? Him? Okay. Right. But I think with the way that they're, put in the guy with the lead foot over there. Go ahead, put him in. But I think this way, because I watched. I think I even posted last week the peanut. It was a highlight of Peanut Tillman. Like, dude, like that shit. All right, so you got beat, but you know what? Boom, quick. All of a sudden, you punch that ball out. And as the guy's pulling away from you, you got pumps it out. Because a lot of times when guys fake, the ball is away. The ball security by receivers nowadays isn't where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. It's easy to pop that thing out. So you might have got beat. Oh, pop it out, ball on the ground. Guess what? Now you're done. Now you're done, and because now you thought you're dope because you put a move on them, and now you look like an ass because the ball's on the ground. Next thing you know, defense got it going the other way. Like, damn. You know what I mean? So, hey, awesome stuff, dude. Awesome stuff. Hey, I just got a notice. One of your UC just finished.
I just looked at the text. It just went live.
Yeah.
Tony just tweeted that out. I looked down like that and just saw he was just telling Alex to tweet it out. Yeah, we recorded it before. Look, I got here on time.
I know, dude. I know. I was like, damn.
Yeah, but yeah. So definitely probably see you guys on Friday. What was I about to say? I've totally just blanked out on something I was going. Oh, shout out to Josh, my man Josh Hicks coming on in the next segment, man. Tell Josh I said what's up as y'all break down the bullies.
I will,
man.
I will.
Take care of that, my young stallion. Go. Yeah, shout out to Josh Hicks, man. But yeah, you guys, Ivan, y'all have a good one. Everybody on the text thread, Mondo, Patty, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Cornelius, something HR, whom Jerusalem.
Cornelius, the factor one.
Cornelius. Everybody have a good one, man. Be safe, and I'll see you guys on Friday.
Hey, I'm probably gonna see if Mom wants to go see Batman this afternoon, like early evening.
Go see, check. Listen, believe me, you're gonna enjoy it. I mean, I say like listen, you're gonna really enjoy it. Let me say that one. You're gonna really enjoy. And also, I'm gonna say this too. This is my hot take. That may be my favorite Batmobile. Because let's be honest, let's literally revisit something. The Batmobile from the early 90s one was kind of trash. If we really being honest, when we first saw it, it was like.
I don't know about trash. I think it wasn't as high tech as we anticipated.
It had to be high tech. It was an Eldorado stretched, right, with a single seat. Like just how it was built was like when I saw that one, I liked the Adam West one better. I was like, yeah, give me the old Adam West one.
You like the Adam West one?
Yeah, over that one.
Bang, zoom.
Yes. I like that because that car was so integral to it. Because think about it, and we used to go see this car in front of the ride at Six Flags, right? So you got to really be like, yeah, I guess. Like it was cool because it was Batman's car. It wasn't. You never in your life was like, yeah, I want that. Like you never was like, okay, but this
racer's car.
I'm gonna tell you this. Tell you this. You would want this one. All right,
really?
This Batmobile, this is a bad. Listen. I'm going to say what's in it. The bullet, all right? Steve McQueen chase scene. And I'm not the big chase scene guy. This is a nice chase scene in this one, all right?
Even the Dark Knight one, dude, where he's like, where it comes out of the Dark Knight where he's, dude, I like that shit.
That was straight. But if we're being honest, I would take Christian Bale's tank over the Michael Keaton, George Clooney Batman like that. I'm with you. When he came out of it, yeah, that was kind of one. I don't know why I hate Batman in a one seater. Yeah, right? You never know who you're gonna be riding with.
Right? You didn't. I got a honey, but you're Bruce Wayne underneath there. You might need a honey. Like, hey, come on, baby.
I'm saying so. You okay, that's what I'm saying. But this one again, I'm not gonna reveal anymore. I want to hear what you have to say on Friday. All right, you check it out. So take your notes so we can go back and forth on this. Again, everybody have a good one, man. I'm sorry that don't want to stop my man Josh Hicks from getting up in here and breaking down the bullies in basketball.
All right, man. We'll see you Friday.
Later.
All right, guys. That was Ken Davis from the Undercenter Podcast and that Davis Show. And we're going to take a quick break. And then the other side of the break, we're going to bring in our guy, Josh Hicks. We're going to talk some bullies, baby. Big. I'm not going to say it's a must-win for the Bulls, but it's a must-win for the Bulls tonight as they travel to the city of brotherly love and take on the Sixers tonight, 6 o'clock local time. So we're going to talk to him. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. NHL Sunday, the Lightning beat the Blackhawks 6-3. Chicago led at 1-0 after the first, but trailed 4-1 after the second. Tampa scored 3 more times in the third. Chicago with goals from Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, and Dylan Strome. They each added an assist. Marc-Andre Fleury made 26 saves. The Hawks are back home tomorrow night against Anaheim. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop. Big matchup tonight as the Bulls visit the 76ers. Chicago 4th in the Eastern Conference, looking to snap a 4-game slide. They've fallen 3.5 games out of first place. The Sixers coming off a loss, but are second in the conference, tied with Milwaukee, 3 games behind Miami. Illinois basketball wrapped up the regular season with a 74-72 win over Iowa Sunday. The Illini with the top seed. The Illini have the top seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll play Friday against the winner of Thursday's 8th seed Michigan, 9th seed Indiana matchup. For lightning fast sports updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of the most popular sports apps in North America. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're not shopping spring essentials at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just got 20% off the cutest outfit from Sonoma Goods for Life, 25% off Hurley, which my son loves, and 25% off Champion and Adidas. Did I mention I also got an extra 15% off and earned Kohl's cash? Here's to longer days and more time to save. Select styles, 15% offer ends March 20th. Hurley, Champion, Adidas, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
You're riding around, it's like going on a go-kart.
And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
my happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your mow. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a deer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got done with my man Ken Davis. He sat with me from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour, and boy, was it awesome. We had Zach Pearson on from 10 to 10:30, a little more than 10:30, just talking Bears, talking Combine, talking who we like, talking scenarios, what he's going to do if Zach was the GM, what he would do with this Bears team. There's a lot of options, and you know what? It's interesting. I'm happy for Ryan Poles. He's got a lot of options. Okay. He could have come into a draft where they were weak at wide receiver and weak at offensive line, and you know what I mean. So, and had really had to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Okay, he's very fortunate now that this class is deep in those specific areas. Okay, because now if you want an offensive lineman and you say, hey, well, listen, you want how much? Well, you know what? No, we'll take a younger guy for a lot less, on a rookie deal. Wide receivers, good options, a lot of options for Ryan Poles. And as Zach said, he's glad he's not the one who has to make all these decisions, because there's a lot of them that have to be made. They got to be the right ones for this particular Bears team. Well, my next guest, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk some Bulls, baby. We're going to talk with a good friend of the program. He's been on here plenty of times. He's assistant sports editor over at the Paulia, and he also works for War Media. We are Regal Radio. Man, you can find him on Twitter at Josh M. Hicks Media. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Josh Hicks. Joshua, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Doing good, Shawn. How about you? Shout out to my boy Ken. I appreciate the shout out, man. Shout out. Much love.
Yeah. He did say make sure. I knew you heard him, but I was gonna say, hey, that Ken said to say what's up. Good to have you. I know you guys were used to work at Regal together, so good shit. But let's just talk about something that's not good stuff, and that's our Bullies right now. Our Bullies are 4-game losing streak. They just can't seem to beat good teams. So with that 4 games, they've gone from tied for first in the Eastern Conference now to fourth, 3.5 games back. Do you see this free fall ending tonight in Philly with James Harden and the probable MVP of the league, Joel Embiid?
Unfortunately, I don't. The Bulls have always had that's been the one opponent that's always given the Bulls problems. It's the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid is a nightmare for the Bulls to guard. Vucevic has no chance of holding him for some reason. And Joel just likes to circle the Bulls on his calendar. That's when he normally has his big 30, 40, 50-point performances against the Bulls. So I don't see the Bulls overcoming this. The Bulls have struggled defensively mightily, especially amongst the perimeter. And on top of that, you also have the Sixers thriving with James Harden in his new situation. That pick and roll duo between Harden and Embiid has been impossible to guard. Tyrese Maxey has taken his game to another level offensively, where he's averaging almost 20 points a game in his new role. Philadelphia is hot right now. Bulls are struggling. I just don't see the Bulls using this opportunity to overcome Philadelphia, especially going into the city of brotherly love, which is always a hard area to play in.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and it's not that the Bulls are not a good team. Obviously, they held down the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference for a good part of the first half of this, up until 4 games ago, really. But they dealt with a lot of injuries. They had COVID situations. How do you see this team finishing the regular season? There are 18 games left. Alex Caruso, Alonzo Ball should be coming back soon. They're hoping that Patrick Williams can come back soon. Talk to me about how you see this team finishing the regular season and where you think they will finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or lower.
I think they'll still finish between that 3-4 range. I've expected this dip to take place, especially since the fact that you just mentioned Lonzo Ball being out, Caruso being out. Those are your top 2 perimeter defenders that really aid to the defense of the Bulls, where they are currently struggling at right now. And without those components, especially even offensively with Lonzo Ball, what he does facilitating the floor, the Bulls are going to struggle in some of those areas, and it may be key moments to where they may lose those games in tight game situations. But I think you can't really decipher how good they will finish until you actually see the finished product, because with Caruso and Ball coming back, you got to see how much time they need to get reacclimated into the system. You brought in a new player in Tristan Thompson, who has been great for the Bulls as far as giving them rebounding and the toughness that they need on both ends of the floor. But you still got to put the new talent of Lonzo Ball and Caruso, get them back to the swing of things. You talk about Patrick Williams. If he comes back, he hasn't played all season long. You got to see how you're gonna get that rust off of him. So
how many games do you think it'll take for all three, for the 2 guards, and then for P. Will if he comes back? How many games do you think it'll take to get that rust off of him going into the playoffs?
If you talk about 18 games left in the season, you may be looking at probably around 8 to 10 games at least.
Okay.
Just
about half.
Yeah,
Okay.
about half to get most of the rust off. It takes time to get acclimated, get your conditioning up, and things of that sort. Because regular season basketball is a lot different from playoff basketball. Game slows down. It's more intense, more physical, more wear and tear. And you need to make sure that your body is up to par to handle that. On top of the fact that you also need to make sure the chemistry is right, because this is now the time where you get to figure out which lineups go with which to make sure.
Do that now, not at the end of the season, not in the playoffs.
Right. Like, this is the perfect time to do that, to make sure you're set for the playoffs. And the Bulls, unfortunately, don't have the luxury of that, considering all your best talent, well, most of your best talent you normally would be playing in these situations right now isn't available.
And we saw with Kobe White, when he came back, it took him a minute to get acclimated because Iowa was eating up a lot of his minutes. And remember, his first couple of shots were first couple of trips up and down the court were just awful. He looked like a fish out of water. And then now look at him. Now he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. It just takes time. And unfortunately, we only have 18 games left. And I think you're right. I think it might take Patrick a little more because he's been out all season. Right. But those guys that played, and they're ready to. I think it might be an easier transition for them.
Yeah, most definitely, completely agree with that. You mentioned Kobe White having this transition. We haven't even talked about how Derrick Jones isn't fully healthy still to that capability, and we talking about Zach LaVine like he's like the Zach LaVine of old. Zach LaVine is still hurt. He's still injured. His knee is not fully up to par. He is not 100%. He doesn't have that explosiveness that he used to. He still can score, but his game is changing in a way to where he can't he can't be as explosive or downhill as he used to be. So we got to make sure that Zach LaVine is healthy enough for the playoffs. You got to make sure that Caruso and Lonzo Ball are back on the same page and the same flow when it comes to the healing from their injuries. Patrick Williams, he's an interesting case because you have him as a stretch 4. But where do you put him when it comes to maybe the small ball lineup? Does he become your 5, your center? Does he still stay in that stretch 4 position? Especially now that you have Tristan Thompson, who can come off the bench and be your backup center, or in some cases, be your kind of your center and moving Vooch to more of a stretch 4 position when you play Vucevic and Thompson in the backcourt at the same time. It's a lot of kinks you have to figure out, and I'm glad I'm not Billy Donovan. That's going to take a lot to go through. But Billy Donovan has to come up with the perfect formulas for the final stretch of the season and acclimating all that talent that you got coming back, which is what the Bulls need, honestly, just to stay afloat. And it's hard to do at this time of the season when you don't have all the assets and resources that you need.
Yeah, it's going to be. Listen, it is I'm concerned. I don't want them to slip 5, 6. I don't. I don't want them to get down there, and I think they can. And they have to. They got the second toughest schedule in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, percentage wise. And they got to do some way. What do you think they have to do? What do you think they need to do in order for them to get off the schneid? Because you lose 6 in a row, man, 6, 7 in a row. Now you're looking at 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8.
You got to play 48 minutes of basketball. The Bulls pick and choose their moments in some cases when to turn the switch on defensively and to get back. Even one of the last games when they played against the Milwaukee Bucks at home, they were up for the game. They struggled shooting the ball a little bit. Defense was there, but there are moments where you made great defensive plays for 22 seconds out of the 24-second shot clock, and then you just can't come up with a rebound. You give up second chance opportunities, and that doing that over time takes a toll on your body, your physical condition, and your mental. So when you talk about the final games and the moments of those games, you got to be able to be mentally tough to come up with defensive stops and transition those defensive stops into scoring opportunities and capitalize on those scoring opportunities. The Bulls can do that, but they have been inconsistent in those areas, especially throughout a full 48-minute game. You have to be able to do that no matter who's out there on the floor. And once you're able to do that, then you escalate and take things to the next level where you actually have a better chance of winning those close games, which is what the Bulls have struggled in this recent stretch. And it's honestly been a trend for Billy Donovan since he got here to Chicago. The Bulls struggled in doing that. So they have to find a way to come together, play strong 48 minutes on both ends of the floor, especially defensively without your defensive specialists being out there on the floor to really turn this whole tide around.
Guys, we're joined by Joshua Hicks from We Are Regal Radio, talking Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Talk to me about the pickup that the Bulls just had. They just picked up Tristan Thompson. How much do you like it, dislike it? What's your thoughts on the Tristan Thompson acquisition?
I like it overall. I would love it if he doesn't mess around and keep trying to steal women's wives, these men's wives and stuff. But outside of that, I love it. Tristan Thompson brings the one thing that the Bulls lacked all season long, and that's toughness. When Arturas Karnisovas brought in Daniel Tice last season, it turned the whole Bulls chemistry around because he brought a toughness in the paint and in the post that the Bulls lacked, and that helped take the team to the next level. Tristan Thompson is that type of guy for you. He doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time. He knows his role. He's defensive minded. He's rebounding minded. And on top of that, he has a championship pedigree. He knows what it's like. He knows what it takes to take the team to the next level to win a championship. So having that type of veteran presence on the Bulls, especially to fill a void where we are very thin in the big man department, he fills a void that the Bulls need. And he also brings in some ways some versatility because now you could play Vucevic at a stretch 4 position, even though he's been playing mostly at the 5. He might be better off as a stretch 4 because of his offensive capability. So you talk about an offense where you can move Vucevic to the 4 and put him in pick and roll situations or pick and pop situations. That's something that's ideal for the Bulls offensively, and in some cases can be utilized defensively as well. I love the Tristan Thompson pickup, but the Bulls have to capitalize on those type of moves, and so far they haven't been able to do it at a consistent level.
Yeah, I hear you. Do you think, and Billy's this guy, he's actually still playing around with lineups because he's got to figure out, because of what you said, you can't be figuring shit out at the end of the season or in the first round of the playoffs. Your rotations have to be set and say you're coming in at this particular point of the game, the first whistle after the 10-minute mark of the three, whatever, you're coming in here, that has to be set. So he's trying to figure out where to put Tristan Thompson. He's putting them also trying to see a Vooch and Thompson pairing on the court at the same time, and seeing how that works. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, I want to ask you is and maybe it's just me, but give me your assessment on the whole thing on Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine seems to be getting a little annoyed at times with DeMar DeRozan. The other day, DeMar DeRozan, he's been, first of all, DeMar's been playing a little bit too much hero ball. That's he's like a black hole. Like, stop it. All right, if the shots are falling, okay, but the offense stops moving when DeMar gets the ball. People stop moving without the ball. I've seen Zach's body language on those times seem a little down. I've seen Zach stop playing, aggressive defense after poor shots by DeMar DeRozan. Have you seen it? And if you have, okay, what do you think this could lead to in the future?
You could say there's some of that in there. You could definitely say there's some of that in there. No, this isn't. Let's not act like this is the perfect duo. I mean, even though I love the move and I thought this could work on the court, even with the issues that those two may be dealing with behind the scenes that we may not be aware about, at the end of the day, it brought them to the number one seed in the league in the Eastern Conference until now. So it shows that it can work. And it shows that Billy Donovan has done what he needed to do to make it work. Zach LaVine as well, taking that back seat and letting DeMar DeRozan pretty much be the front runner of this offense. We also have to counter the fact that Zach LaVine is also not himself. He has a knee injury, is not fully healthy. He's admitted that it won't be healthy for the rest of the season. So therefore, that could be something that could be lingering towards him, along with the fact that prior to the All-Star break, he was having back spasms. So Zach LaVine's frustration in some cases, yeah, I completely see and agree that offensively he may not be fully 100%, and how DeMar DeRozan, and it may be the reason why it's leading to DeMar DeRozan playing hero ball at times, because Zach LaVine isn't fully healthy to be himself offensively, and DeMar may not fully trust that. He may actually feel like I might have to take over in these situations because of those cases. However, let's not act like this is the perfect duo either. It takes some time to figure things out. And these are the type of moments where Bulls are actually going through struggles where you actually have to figure stuff out with both players fully healthy on the court. I think this is honestly one of the first times you're dealing with something like that from the duo perspective. So they're just trying to figure the kinks out. And also wear and tear on the season. You're trying to get ready for playoffs. It's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we have to factor in, but I think it could work in the future for sure, especially now since you got Lonzo Ball as a point guard, who can hopefully facilitate the offense a lot better than what we're currently dealing with behind Ayo, even though he's doing great with him stepping up, and Kobe White as your backup point guards. I think those play a role too.
Talk to me about Ayo. Ayo's been, he's a darling. He was a steal in the second round. He's been locking up a couple of big time scorers. In the last couple games, he's gotten torched. Welcome to the NBA, rookie. Trae Young got him back. He had 39, if I'm not mistaken. And then John Morant got him for 46. And then John Morant went for 452 the next night for whoever they played next. Talk to me about that. Do you think that will affect his confidence at all? Or is it just, you're dealing with some of the top scoring guards. You're guarding the top scoring players on each team, and it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen. I mean, he's a Chicago kid. He's tough. He knows what's at stake. He knows what it takes to win, and he knows that coming into this rookie season, he has a lot to learn. But the best thing for Ayo is the fact that throughout those failures of guarding the best of the best in some cases, he's also flourished in other ways as well, and you can tell he's progressed throughout the season. I kind of look at this not in a full comparison, but in some similar traits to how Jimmy Butler was brought on when he was here in Chicago after his first year. Because his rookie year, he didn't get a lot of playing time, wasn't known as an offensive guy, but he was known as a defensive specialist. And there were times where defensively he was guarding the best of the best. Having those minutes playing over time, working on his offensive skills, now you're looking at Jimmy Butler, who was an all-star and superstar getting supermax deals, and no one thought that was even possible for Jimmy Butler to do. Ayo is I'm not saying he's exactly in that type of position, but there are some similarities as far as Ayo coming in early in his rookie season, getting a lot of minutes that, quite frankly, we didn't expect, and him stepping up and learning from taking advantage of those opportunities given to him, playing well defensively along the perimeter, and honestly keeping the team afloat in that perimeter defensively. We talk about pairing him with Kobe White, who is not a defensive type of player, and then you have offensively him stepping up in key moments, hitting big shots, shooting more the mid-range. I think he's currently out of the rookies, one of the top 5 in three-point shooting. So he's come along in ways that, quite frankly, we didn't expect, even though we knew that this kid was special since his Morgan Park days here in Chicago. And that his contributions to this team really has kept this team afloat in a lot of ways throughout the injuries that's been going on, taking place. And he's just, all he can do is just continue to get better over time. And there's some rookie lapses that we've experienced, especially during this stretch. But that's part of being a rookie and a first-year NBA player. You're going to have those. Ayo's going to be just fine. It's just a matter of time. He continues to take on those opportunities that he has and build on top of what he's already put together as a foundation in his first year in Chicago.
How much of a reputation is he building for himself, especially most importantly is with the officials, by being such a good defender? Do you think that could buy him some leeway and maybe be a little extra physical, or a little more body, or a little more, when it comes in the playoff, during the playoffs, because this is how he's played all season. This is how he stopped guys all season. You think he's buying some equity, so to speak, with some officials because of the way he plays defense?
Yes, I definitely agree with that, and it also helps that he's also was one of the few players representing the Rising Stars Challenge. He was able to make and having that along with his pedigree and other players raving about his defense and how he's a pest. He's sticky. He's on you like white on rice per se, and he doesn't give you breathing room to operate the way you want to. That's the definition of defense right there. So having that respect around the league is going to transition eventually to the referees and how they ref games. Not to mention the playoffs are a completely different reffing style than the NBA regular season. And there may be situations where in the playoffs, some things may be let go. If Ayo's in a situation of that allows him to be even more physical than he probably is given leeway to do now. So I think there's going to be some advantages to that, and the fact that he's developing a reputation amongst the players around the league, and he's been represented and on the biggest stages in the league, that's going to help his portfolio and gaining that respect from the referees. So that way, when he does come into these games in the playoffs, he's going to get a little bit of extra help.
You know what? Great stuff. I hope so. I really do. I love. Because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I like that physical style. I love playoff basketball. I love the regular season style back in the day when 89, 90 points. If you hit 100, a team played a horrible game defensively. So I like that that slow, methodical type basketball. And if they allow him to be a little more physical than he's already been, it's gonna bode well for this Bulls team. And then let's not forget, once we get back Caruso, once we get back Ball, get those guys, which really the perimeter ball defenders, when it slows down the flow of the offense, and then you got another guy like Ayo, it can really do a good number. Like we're talking, you're getting into your offense with 12 seconds to go in the shot clock. That's not a lot of time to get your offense or a specific play up and running, and then that leads to a lot of bad shots or quick shots, which hopefully would be rebounded by the Bulls. So this defense, this could be, along with Ayo, this team could be really, really, really special on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh yeah, completely agree with it. And you can tell he's been taking notes. You can tell he's been taking notes from Lonzo Ball. You can tell he's taking notes from Caruso. And having him in the perimeter, especially now that you got a defensive guy in Tristan Thompson, that helps your pick and roll defense as well. And having those two together, the more they mesh and understand each other, especially on the defensive end, that's going to take the Bulls team to the next level defensively as well. But everyone has to contribute on the defensive end and be fully committed to play defense on a string. Just like you got to play offense on a string. And you do that, you put yourself in the best positions to win, which I think when you get all the talent back together, the Bulls will be able to do that.
Hey, Josh, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
You can find me all over Twitter and Instagram, Josh M. Hicks Media.
Good stuff, Bob. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Talk soon.
All righty. Guys, that was Joshua Hicks from We Are Regal Radio talking Bullies, and I'm looking forward to how this is going to play out, man. This Bulls team, it's not a must win, but it's a must win. So good luck to the Bullies, and we're going to see how they play today in the city of brotherly love with the newly acquired James Harden to go along with the most likely MVP Joel Embiid, who just gives them fits. We were at the Bulls game when the Philly was here. Man, it seemed like the whole first quarter, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid with the basket. Embiid with the basket. I'm like, dude, anyone else score on this God bless the team? And this guy, he just has an affinity for playing against these Bulls. We're gonna find out. And they have to stop this losing streak. They need to get on the right path, on the winning path, and turn this thing around. It's gonna be tough over in Philly. We got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to bring in our guy. He's going to join us, and that's Jason Palmer from What's Up Cuz. He's going to join us in a little bit. We'll kind of recap everything, see who he has on his show coming on tonight, and just get back into some straight sports conversation with my guy, Jay Coyden, as he's also known as. All right, so Jason Palmer on the other side, so don't go away, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. NHL Sunday, the Lightning beat the Blackhawks 6-3. Chicago led at 1-0 after the first, but trailed 4-1 after the second. Tampa scored 3 more times in the third. Chicago with goals from Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane, and Dylan Strome. They each added an assist. Marc-Andre Fleury made 26 saves. The Hawks are back home tomorrow night against Anaheim. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop. Big matchup tonight as the Bulls visit the 76ers. Chicago 4th in the Eastern Conference, looking to snap a 4-game slide. They've fallen 3.5 games out of first place. The Sixers coming off a loss, but are second in the conference, tied with Milwaukee, 3 games behind Miami. Illinois basketball wrapped up the regular season with a 74-72 win over Iowa Sunday. The Illini with the top seed. The Illini have the top seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll play Friday against the winner of Thursday's 8th seed Michigan, 9th seed Indiana matchup. For lightning fast sports updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of the most popular sports apps in North America. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're not shopping spring essentials at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just got 20% off the cutest outfit from Sonoma Goods for Life, 25% off Hurley, which my son loves, and 25% off Champion and Adidas. Did I mention I also got an extra 15% off and earned Kohl's cash? Here's to longer days and more time to save. Select styles, 15% offer ends March 20th. Hurley, Champion, Adidas, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
You're riding around, it's like going on a go-kart.
And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
my happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your mow. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a deer.
Whoa, welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Just got done with Joshua Hicks talking Bulls basketball. We're going to bring in my guy. I think where were you, Alaska this time or Hawaii, Seattle, the Fiji Islands? Where were you at this time? We're bringing our guy. He's a host of one of the hottest shows here on SportsZone Chicago, and that's What's Up Cuz, that he hosts with his cousin Lance C. Irvin. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Coyden, and check out his new website, Jay Coyden Reports. Guys, let's bring him in. Jason Palmer. Jason, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, man. It's been a while since I talked to you, Shawn.
It has
like almost 2 weeks, man. The world went crazy with Russia invading Ukraine, and good Lord, I've missed you guys, but I'm doing well. I took a little R&R with the wife this past weekend. We went to Vegas for a few days. So hung out in Vegas for a few days and then went to the Grand Canyon in Arizona.
Oh, okay. I did see that in Arizona, the Grand Canyon. That was was that your first time there?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was awesome. I see why they call it one of the natural wonders of the world, man. Just very humbling. Very humbling. There's a lot of stuff goes in the world, and we think we can control everything, and then you look at nature, and nature tells you who's really in control. So,
yeah, it really does. I've been there. It was, man, it was crazy. I've been there because a kid, a long time ago. I was down there, and it was like, holy cow, this is insane. The Mother Nature is something else, boy. She really, really is, and it's awesome. Glad you got a chance to get out and see that. it's powerful. It's really, truly, truly powerful, dude.
It is. It is. I think everyone needs to get out and experience the beauty of nature. Sometimes it definitely helps your spirit. So
Yeah, it does. We were talking Bears, we were talking draft, and one of the other things that we did get to talk about. You said that you were interested. It was that Brittany Griner situation. Brittany Griner gets stopped in the Russian airport, and she had some vapes on her. I think it was. Is she going to prison for life, or what's the hell that whole situation? You know, with Russian, they don't. And why was she out there in anyway?
yeah, very scary situation, and I think we should all really be seriously concerned about Brittany Griner. See, this is hard because you're talking about Russia, and we know what's going on in the world right now. So, what can you trust and what can you not trust? It's coming out of Russia. So she was in Russia because she's played over there the past 7 years during the WNBA offseason, as do many other WNBA players. I sent us a group text in our SportsZone Chicago about Quigley from the Quigley and Vandersloot from the Chicago Sky. They also play in Russia. And about a week ago, we got notice that they were leaving Russia immediately. The United States government has also told all U.S. citizens to get out of Russia. So you're seeing a lot of athletes who are over there get out. Now, the scary thing about the Brittany Griner case, Shawn, is that she's been in custody for 3 weeks, and we just found out about it a few days ago. Right. So that's why I'm concerned. U.S. citizens get in trouble all the time overseas, whether they drug charges, they get in fights with people. We see it. It happens. There's a procedure. The State Department gets involved, blah, 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 blah. But this is different because you're dealing with Russia. And she's a high-profile person. So my fear is that Vladimir Putin is going to use Brittany Griner pretty much as a political prisoner / hostage to try to get something from the United States that he wants. And the United States official policy is they don't negotiate with people they see as terrorists or rogue nations or whatever. So with this war going on, she's just become a big chip in the poker game for Vladimir Putin. And you don't want to be in jail in Russia. I just got to put it out there. That's one of the places on earth you do not want to be in prison, and you do not want to be an American in prison, and you do not want to be a Black American over there in prison. So in terms of what she was arrested for, they said she had vape cartridge, and inside the vape cartridge there was some habesh oil or something. It's Russia, man. I can't trust anything that they're saying. And if she did, I always tell people, because like you just mentioned, I travel a lot. My wife and I travel internationally a lot. You can't play around when you leave these borders because you ain't got the same rights in another country.
Yeah.
So, if she made that mistake, yes, a mistake, but she's facing up to 16 years in prison.
16?
16.
Whew. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow is all I can say. Here's the crazy thing is, like, as Americans, we, living in Italy, Americans, we really think the world revolves around us, and our privilege that we have here, and that's we can argue about that in another time, but that it extends to around the world, that people are supposed to kowtow to us whatever we do, and it's not. That doesn't work that way. And whatever she had, like, she shouldn't, if she had that, like, she knows that stuff you just shouldn't have. All right, you just really shouldn't crossing borders. All right, you didn't need it. Okay, unfortunately, she got busted, and I can guarantee that you'll see a lot of other athletes make sure that that's not a situation that happens to them, because what happens to her is going to be a more than a lesson. You talk about scared straight for everybody else playing overseas, that'll scare people straight.
Yeah. And, and I hate to think diabolical, but I have to be real because we are talking about Russia. And me being straightforward, I was in Russia in 1999. I spent nearly 2 weeks over there as a part of a program, Chicago State sent me over there. I was over there with students from all over the world, and I was in Moscow. I was in St. Petersburg. And I knew even back then, you don't play around over here. You stick with your tour group. You do what you're supposed to do. You don't take nothing from that country that you did not purchase. And so I purchased a couple of they have, those army hats, those winter hats that they wear that are real nice. And I got some that were made out of mink. And in 99, the ruble wasn't worth nothing. Yeah. So I was over there and I had American money and I bought 3 of those things for $30. So I bought one for myself, one for my mother, and one for my aunt. The mink ones because they're really great for the winter. And, I got them for $30 for 3 of them. But I kept the receipt on everything because I know what country I'm dealing with is Russia. And you can't play around with them. So, but I'll think, on a more diabolical level, why I'm really concerned about Brittany Griner is because who she is and what Russia does. I'm afraid they're going to get some of her DNA. They may be trying to make the next athlete, super athlete. I mean, you got to think down this path when you're dealing with countries like Russia. I think she was targeted. That's just my personal opinion because she's been playing over there 7 years. I think she knows pretty damn well what the rules are when you're traveling to Russia and what you can have and what you can't have. And I find it extremely shocking that all of a sudden on this one check, they found something that she was carrying that is illegal. I think she was targeted. I think, Putin planned this and he was like, okay, I know how to get me a chip in a poker game. And I also think that is why the United States government put out that message to all athletes to get the hell up out of Russia.
Man. Guys, we're talking to Jason Palmer. He's the co-host of What's Up Cuz right here on SportsZone Chicago every Monday night. And we're talking about the Brittany Griner situation. If you didn't know, Brittany Griner, WNBA star, former star, All-American at Baylor, plays in the offseason in Russia, was detained for having some what kind of oil? Hashish.
Yeah, hashish oil. Yeah.
Hashish oil. And so she's been held for 3 weeks, you said, and we just heard about it. This is a couple of days ago. Wow, this is just crazy. I think you're right. It does seem like a political thing as far as targeting her, and now the U.S. has to get involved. All right, when you have one of their own. You said a political prisoner. I think Armando said the same thing. Political prisoner, political hostage. Now you're dealing with an American. You got to go after her, like anyone else who's, who any other American who may be out there, who may be trapped in a crazy country. So it's, I wish you the best, man. I don't know what, I'm anxious to see how this turns out because I don't want it to go off the rails in a bad way. And if it does work out where she gets to come home, how long will that take? That's the question that we can't answer.
Well, and what's even more scary is we don't know what's being done to her. That's my major concern right now. You don't know what's going. There's no Amnesty International in Russian prisons. You see what I'm saying?
They're not sending daily updates on how she's doing.
No, they're not. And that's the worst part. And, and Ivan knows about this. Ivan served in the military. It's almost like you just got caught behind enemy lines. You're basically a POW, even though you're not serving in the military.
Well, we had people.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was a little loud. I had to get a little close. We had people in the, when I was in the Navy, in particular when we went to Singapore, I could remember that the most because somebody had gotten arrested and held back, and we had to go ahead and a whole deal to get them released and brought back and then discharged, and then they went ahead and served, whatever punishment they had to serve. But they don't screw around, in Singapore, you couldn't spit out gum. You couldn't spit, you couldn't litter. Like if they caught you, they will arrest you. Like they've talked about canings, and I'm talking about like, real canes, like they're going to cane you. however many times if you go ahead and screw up enough. But she was definitely targeted. I mean, and also black woman, American, also a lesbian. Like all these things are factors. Like all these things are factors as well. And like it's just I would hope. I hope she's all right first and foremost, but I hope she wasn't just it wasn't her fault. You know what I mean? I hope it wasn't her. I hope she was smarter than that than to do that and risk what's going on. But I hope the best for Brittany Griner, that's for sure.
Yeah, pretty scary situation. And, you know, I think what you said, Shawn, is absolutely true. All these athletes now are like, holy crap. I gotta be real careful here. And, you know, again, I think the timing of this says a lot. And I agree with you, Southside Bear. All these governments, you really can't trust them because there's always so much geopolitical stuff going on in the world. But, you know, the fact that they've had this woman in 3 weeks and never told nobody, I think that happened during the Olympics when all that stuff was going on with the Russian skaters and all that stuff. And people got to understand this is how Putin thinks. He not a rational dude. He's real diabolical. So he's like, oh, okay, you going to go after my skaters? Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get one of theirs. And, you know, I think, you know, you make up a great point, Ivan, is that, you know, also her being a member of the LGBTQ community, and that is not that's very frowned upon under Putin's Russia. She's got a lot of factors going against her right now. And I really am worried for her personal safety, and I hope we can get her back. She's going to be scarred from this because the other thing is that, you know, Brittany Griner's been very public about her bouts with depression and self-doubt and all those other things that she's dealt with and the feeling of isolation. So she suffered from a lot of things in her life. And, you know, being in prison ain't going to be fun for nobody, regardless of where it is. But in Russia, I'm really, really nervous for this young woman. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, that's a rough one. Well, the Bullies, we'll keep with some Bulls talk. Bulls play tonight in the city of brotherly love, where there'll be little to none of that. They play the newly minted duo of newly acquired James Harden, along with I think the league MVP Joel Embiid. Your thoughts on this one? We were at the game last a couple weeks ago for my birthday when Philly was in town, and they gave it to us. And now we're going over there. Your thoughts? The Bulls have lost 4 in a row. They've gone from tied atop the Eastern Conference to 4th. How do you see this playing out, Jay?
This is going to be interesting. You know, the Bulls and these injuries, it's just decimated their team. But you got to still play the game. This is going to be a rough one to win over there in Philly. I think Harden has played better with Embiid than I was expecting. I think so far the early feedback is that Philadelphia definitely won that trade because Brooklyn has really struggled. That said, the Bulls are still a talented team. But they got to play some defense. They got to play defense. That's always been the weakness of this team, even when they were at 100%. And you got an inside-outside combo now in Philly that's going to drive you fits. I don't see them winning this particular game in Philly. But, you know, you still got to throw the ball up in there. We'll see what happens. It looks like the Bulls are going to probably end up a 3 or 4 seed by the time this thing is all done, which is cool with me because that's kind of where I thought they were going to be anyway. And I just think they were really kind of overachieving earlier this year, and then the injuries caught up with them as well. But, you know, it's going to be fun. But my other concern about the Bulls is that they perhaps are doing a White Sox and that they've been beaten up on the little sisters of the poor. And that, you know, when you got to play a real team, all right, now let's see what you can do. You know, we played Milwaukee twice, played them tough, but lost to them both times. Now you're getting ready to play another top team. We got blown out by Brooklyn when Brooklyn was at full throttle. So, you know, I think the Bulls are very much improved. They're definitely a playoff team, but they're going to still have to be able to make that next step.
You're right. I don't know if they can. You know, when you're in the playoffs, it's the same team. It's the same team to get the first 1 to 4. And, you know, adjustments are made not just game to game, Jay. It's literally not quarter to quarter. It's possession to possession.
Mhm.
In the playoffs, that is. Things happen, and I don't know if these guys, if they have it. What I saw the other day, or I've seen the last couple of games, I don't like. All right, DeMar DeRozan's playing too much hero ball, too much one-on-one, too many fadeaway jumpers when there's guys open. Two guys are closing out on you, and you got to find the open man. I know it worked for you before, but defenses are coming at you now, full throttle. They understand what you're doing, and so now what do you have to do? You got to start making passes. You got to start facilitating. I think it's a time where Zach LaVine, if he wants that max contract, he's really got to step up now. He's got to be one of those closers. Say, okay, you want to double team DeMar? No problem. Kick it over here, and I'll hit the game-winning shot. I said this month he's got to win 2 games, whether it's a game-winning shot or whether it's every time a team draws close, he hits a 3 and extends the lead. Those threes that extend the lead when you just cut it down to 4, you cut it down to 3. If you a 2-point or 18-4, and all of a sudden he hits the 3, it extends the lead. He keeps doing that a couple times. I think Zach will definitely get that money. I think it's Zach's time now to step up.
Yeah, I think he can too. The problem is I think Zach is playing at about 70 to 80%. That knee thing really concerns me. I said it when it happened. I understand what they're trying to do to mitigate it so that he can play, is that, they're giving him some off days. But I think he's going to get his money regardless, just because I don't think the Bulls are going to have a lot of other options. I don't know if DeRozan can have another season like he's having now. I think he's got some good seasons left in him, but he's been unbelievable this year. Zach's going to have to step up and play. The continued development of IO is going to be a factor, but my other major concern about the Bulls is, what are we going to do in the post with Vuk? I think Vuk is a big piece of this puzzle. He's never going to be an all-world defender. I understand that, but he's got to be average. He got to be able to do something, man. And he's got to get them some scoring. He's got to be able to put the ball in the bucket, especially in the playoffs when it slows down, like you said, and teams make adjustment. You got to be able to dump that ball into him and know you can get a bucket. So they're still going through these learning stages, but this was a good litmus test for the Bulls to see where they are at this point in the season with what they have, because you can only play with what you have. So I can't wait. It's going to be a big game. Is that an ESPN game tonight, or is that a regular? This is a big game.
Let me see. Let's check the.
I'm not sure if this is a national.
No, it just says NBC Sports Chicago, so it doesn't.
Okay, because we also haven't performed very well on the national scene. So, come on, fellas, let's get this. So this could be a big statement for the Bulls.
Yeah, it can. It can. But real quick before we let you go, the combine just finished. We saw a lot of wide receivers run 4.4 or faster. We saw some defensive linemen run 5 flats or under 5. We saw some offensive linemen run around 5. Give me your thoughts. Who is general manager? Who would you take with that 39th pick?
First of all, let me just say these athletes today are incredible. Some of the numbers is being posted by them big dudes. Back when you played, Shawn, the offensive line was usually just a big fat guy. But these guys are getting more athletic, faster, stronger. So that's one thing I take away from the combine, just the human development of these athletes. The Bears need a wide receiver, no doubt. Probably a couple of them, to be honest. But to me, it's not so much of their flat speed. To me, it's about their separation and their being able to run the routes, because you're not going to run just fly routes. So, I get the timing, but you're not just going to be able to run those routes. You got to be able to run the post route. You got to be able to run them curls. You got to be able to run them drags across the middle, and you got to create separation from that defender. And I think that is one of the areas of concern I have. And I'm dead serious. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears took 2 wide receivers in this draft. And I know they got a lot of other areas to look at, but you got your franchise quarterback. You got to give him something to work with and people that he can grow with together and get the chemistry down for not just this season, but for the next 3 or 4 seasons going forward.
Okay, interesting. Before we let you go, before we got to get out of here, we were talking about refs and how Zach LaVine bitches and moans all the time when he doesn't get the call. do players get a reputation for being little crybabies and will not get calls if they continue to do that like Zach has been doing?
In the NBA, it's always been different. In the NBA, it's the superstar calls. We all know that. For his level of what he's done, Zach should be getting more calls. He's an all-star, man. He's one of the premier players in the league. He should be getting more calls as much as he's driving to the basket. I agree with everybody 100% on that. He's a superstar in the league now. He should be getting more calls. Look at the amount of bitching that LeBron James does. I mean, he bitches and he gets his call. Look at what James Harden does, who they'll play tonight. How many times was he going to the free throw line? He had like 30 free throw attempts one game. I was like, man, come on, man. so I understand Zach's frustration. He's like, look, man, I've been in the league now. I ain't no rookie now. I've earned this right. I'm an all-star. Start giving me my superstar calls. I'm on a different level now. So I agree with him. We'll see what happens, but I agree with him. I think he's on that level now where he deserves to get his calls.
Great stuff, Jason. Guys, 3 hours has come and gone. I cannot believe it. Hey, Jay, real quick, who do you got on tonight?
We're off tonight. Tonight we are off because of the big high school games that are taking place at the UIC Pavilion tonight, Shawn. The super sectionals are going on. Simeon is taking on Lamont at 6 o'clock. And then 7:30, the Class 4A super sectional. Whitney Young versus Kenwood. So Lance, he's on the staff at Kenwood. So I'm going to go out there to UIC Pavilion support Cuz as Kenwood takes on Whitney Young. The winner will advance downstate. And Lance told me to tell you that Kenwood did beat your St. Rita Mustangs to get to this game.
We have to reevaluate his position here on.
There, you had to slip that in there, Jason. There you go. There's Lance. There's Lance.
He told me to make sure I mentioned that to you, Shawn.
Yeah, you better check those grades. I worked in CPS. I know how you fuck around with grades. Like, oh, these 3 Fs. There's 3 Fs.
Phone calls made tonight. Oh
we'll just curl it all the way around and make it an A. Yeah, instead of an F, like A. Yeah, this kid's a great student. I know how it is. Check for ringers too. You might have went and recruited one of the suburban kids who got eliminated already. Like, hey, come play with us. You're a transfer. Not funny, Lance or Jason. Cheaters. All right, they're playing Simeon or Whitney Young.
We're playing Whitney Young tonight, and Simeon is playing Lamont. So Simeon's in 3A this year.
Go Dolphins.
What? But it's funny because his wife and his daughter are graduates of Whitney Young. So I was like, man, that household's gonna be a hot mess.
Shawn's gonna run to the gift shop at Whitney Young real quick before he heads down to the UC.
Hey, I got a friend who works right down the street, right down Jackson. Like, hey, go in there, go to the bookstore, get a T-shirt and a hat. I'll pay you later. I will pay you later. I'll be at. Hey, you want to go to a game tonight? Get yourself one too. I'll pay you later. Hey, 3 hours is come and gone, guys. We had a phenomenal show. I want to thank Zach Pearson from Bear Report for calling in, talking with us. My man Ken Davis for sitting with me for the 10 o'clock hour. Also want to thank Joshua Hicks for joining us. Great stuff, talking Bulls. And, of course, got to thank my guy here, Jason Palmer, for coming in and sitting with me. And I can't forget my guy, Ivan Vargas. He was making everything run smoothly. Make sure you stay tuned because at the top of the hour, we have Second City Sports, with Akina McGee and Sid the Kid, Sydney Brown. It's going to be good sports conversation continued. So make sure you stay there. So, for our executive producer, Elliot Baez, our social media guy, Clarence Council III, my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, Jason and Ivan, I'm your brother, Superback Shawn Sierra. We're going to take a 45-hour break. And on the other side of the break, we'll see you on Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. Follow SportsZone Chicago on all social media platforms. And stay tuned. Second City Sports coming up next. We out.